But you know what, people can use that, but they have to be aware of something. Those things cause irritation to your gallbladder and your pancreas. If you don't have, if you don't have blood work performed at least every 2 months to look for lipids, that's the thing. That is definitely the thing.
Yeah.
Have to be careful.
Yeah.
AC's still not fixed anymore.
It's cooler. You don't realize it?
No.
Oh, because you just came in.
It's muggy.
Oh my God. I can feel his
Are
name.
they clean the drain lines?
So I'm wrong with everybody.
Where that's how the hinges, the door gets screwed up.
Yeah. That's what he was saying when he was here.
Okay.
They just can remain on lock and people just open it.
Here, this is for you.
That's the whole thing.
Yes. Thank you.
I know you to go do it.
How you doing?
And you know I love that.
Okay. Sorry?
No, it's not.
Thank you for this, Diana.
Oh,
The training, the training she was asking.
Not yet. I mean, I knew it was tonight.
Right, so did I, that's all I told you.
I got another email.
Okay,
But they're recording it, so.
very good. Because I told them this is me.
According to.
He was just
I wonder if she's gonna file a lawsuit.
I saw that.
That's a surprise to me.
My husband was standing right there, he couldn't do anything, of course. Because he wasn't arrested too. But then again, too, the city. How are you? Arbitrators, welcome to the down there.
What's this, alligator alcatraz?
Oh,
It's for detainees.
That's right.
Florida?
Yeah.
5,000 of them, making room for 5,000.
Well, and I'm sure that, what's his name, DeSantis will sell off part of it to bring people in from other states. Like he sent our tax dollars to ship people from other states to
Right.
other states.
I mean, to Martha's
So
Vineyard.
Florida will close from other states, is that what it is?
I don't know.
It's crazy. I had to, unfortunately, with this parole revocation, I have 5 employees, and although their work permit, which is the category tied to their parole,
Yeah.
when your parole is revoked, your So, and they just need to get an attorney to guide it. I told them, you don't want an immigration attorney? No, like, we really need to.
Yeah.
I received something, they haven't something somewhere. And this deportation attorney is giving it. I'm the one that I don't
Yeah.
But, yeah, you could hook up with.
Yeah, well, luckily, all the employees, only 5 are affected. There could be more. I hear some hospitals are even in the process, and a lot of people. It's a shame.
Yeah, and all their housekeeping.
The janitorial,
I know a nurse that's returning there.
CNA.
She's leaving. Good RN. Excellent, excellent.
Where's she at?
Hey, she's going back to London. She's leaving. And I said, if she was really anxious, and I said, maybe her papers on order. That's why she's leaving before they come out.
Well, yeah, I
Yeah.
understand.
And she's a good friend
If
too.
you leave before they deport you, you have a better
Right.
opportunity to
Right.
reapply.
And I think that's what she's doing. Lovely
It takes a
person.
little bit, but
Lovely person. Nice.
there are a lot of people that are self-reported.
And we are in a crunch with our nursing staff.
You most certainly are. That's right. You most certainly are.
But there are certain visas, types of visas, nursing, wonder. But I don't think it affects like certain visas. It's more immigration category, like you have parole, you have asylum, you have like A11 is asylum or A9 already, well, and C11 is the category of parole, which you know, in the Biden administration, a lot of people came under parole. So that they got.
Yeah, you're supposed to.
Hello, sir. How are you? Right, it is. You're outside.
Please, I mean, I saw Dory and Levi when I was there.
Is Elizabeth coming?
I know Bert's is not coming.
I know.
Elizabeth, at this time, usually isn't the one at this time.
Yeah.
She struggles with this timing, because she has clients this time. So we're just waiting for the construction to Larry.
Levi's here, so is
You're both here, you're outside.
No, she uses us like shoes out there. Yeah. Well, I mean, no, not yet.
What's your plan of action?
I don't know. I was looking at the route
Yeah.
to go over there where my friends were moving. The position that they have now. It's like, I have to secure an advocate to defend the appraisals. It's a lot of research and. Stick with this one, so I'm not following my own license.
Put a reserve sign on that table, just so you know. I didn't say what the reserve sign said, but I did.
I need someone over there, you know, that and case management. Oh, I'm kidding, I've been doing that since 1996. And you know, but I thought
Matt, good evening, is Larry coming?
that's it, that's it.
He's always looking.
He's on his way.
Just wanted to clarify, because I did go around and inspect it. I did not put the repair on the upper windows on the list.
Everybody,
This
we're
is
just
for a
waiting for the
separate
project
contract.
manager.
But I did tell them it needs to be done, just so you know. Okay. Yeah, I will, okay.
We have an ETA on,
Let me go.
Larry.
Let me go.
Having a conversation, and all of a sudden you start getting Amazon ads that I'm using. What do you call that? It's not that. And all of a sudden you get
Yeah, I told him. You said it was broken
started, please?
Yeah.
All right, good evening, everybody. Today is Thursday, June 26th. This is our construction project board of directors meeting. We do have a quorum. I just want to introduce for those that don't often come to the construction meetings, part of the construction team from Oscar, we have represented Levi and Doran. From SD Engineering, we have our project manager Larry and engineer Madge. Okay? The agenda was posted and it was posted on the 24th. So Larry, this is, all these agenda items came from you. So I'm going to hand this meeting over to you. And what we'll do is I'll ask everyone after we get through halfway through the agenda, we will open the floor for open forum. We'll have the meeting flow, okay? If you have any questions regarding anything outside construction project matters, it's not this meeting. We had a board of directors meeting already. If you want to talk at the end, certainly we can adjourn the meeting and some of us can stay behind and answer any questions. All right, Larry, you ready?
Yes, I'm ready.
All right, go ahead.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Okay, first item on the agenda is status of lower window assessment along with AC, plumbing, and electricals. For the past 2.5 weeks, myself and Madeline and Diana, we have been going around checking all the units so we could get a list of how many electrical outlets, how many light fixtures, how many plumbing outlets, also cable boxes, also checking the ACs to the side of the house. All of those that which will have to be moved during the next phase which we're about to start, which is the facades. So, and also the meter panels. So because all the wood, C111 is, all the fixtures that I mentioned are attached to these panels. They have to be moved. The plumbing pipes have to be cut so they could remove, install the new facades. The cable boxes with the internet would have to be moved by some cable company or some contractor to do the works. Likewise, the electricals, the AC units would have to get some HVAC company involved with that, and the meter panels, we would have to get an electrician to do the shifting. The intent of that exercise would be to come up with a costing for all these associated works, basically. So that's the first item on the agenda.
So last construction meeting, when Farouk was here, we already discussed this item, right? And you, SD Engineering, was supposed to create a scope of work so we can get it bidded. So that would be for what needs to be removed regarding electrical, AC, and plumbing. Do you have the scope of work
Well,
yet?
through that exercise, then we will develop the scope of works.
When was the vendor's contract commencement?
Yeah.
You signed it, why not?
All right, let's continue.
Wait, no, that's a legit question.
Did you hear Farouk last time, or just you read the minutes, or the video, or not?
Did he specifically say why this wasn't done?
Correct, yes, he did.
And
The
what
buildings
was it?
have to be opened, and they didn't open the
But those were
building.
all external issues.
Well, the thing is, whatever way you have to install the panels, these things have to be shifted.
So we should have known from the beginning.
Okay, the contract, if you read the contract, okay, Ostro specifically said that electrical plumbing was not included.
Everything's
Yes,
not
So we
clear.
have to wait until we get to that phase to get a scope of work when they did the exercise that we're doing.
So was it presumed at that time that this cost would be passed on to the homeowner?
And was banking in that
Of
scope?
course.
At that time, you were aware that homeowners were gonna have to pay for windows, for their AC units to be moved, for their plumbing to be
I'm
cut.
not playing this game.
This isn't a game, this
Gary,
it's
I'm
not
gonna
money, it's
tell you,
not
Gary,
money,
I'm gonna
it's a
tell
game.
you again, okay?
It's not a game, Pat.
I'm
You're
gonna tell
acting
you
like-
I feel like they're pressuring
I'm gonna tell you again.
Pressuring us.
No, I don't know.
When, Farouk was very clear at the beginning, when you start opening these buildings, you will need to know what needs to be
But
done.
this isn't an opening issue.
Yes, it is.
My
They
AC
had to
unit's
remove
outside.
They
The
had to
wood's
remove
there.
the
Do I need to move an
T111,
AC
which
unit?
didn't
to put
have
down? Because I
anything
remember
behind
a
it.
couple of months ago, we were sitting at this meeting and they told us we wouldn't need to.
All right, let's
Would
continue.
be number easy.
Let's
But the original
Wow.
told us to
I'm
get
sorry
this.
to bug in, but would be not more easy the association to take over and just, assess the people if this is what they
That's
want,
exactly
if
what
this is
will
this-
happen.
If this is what they keep saying,
Well, the banks
it's
are-
outside of it.
This is
So
the
this is
problem.
outside.
Let's continue.
You know.
Larry, can you do a brief overview, the explanation Farouk gave last meeting about the openings of the building and having nothing behind it, and then the T111 had nothing behind it but the wood studs?
Basically, what exists is the wood studs. Upon the wood studs, there is a 30-pound water barrier and the T111 plywood. That's just it. With the code change, it requires, as for the hardy board, 5-inch plywood sheet, the 30-pound furring strips,
No,
and the
that's not
T111.
required.
That's the T1, that's an agreement for the NOE,
Well, and on
for
top
the
of it-
installation of hardy
It
board.
can
On
be
top of
used,
it,
it's
has
not
to be-
required by code.
All right, I want to dive into the subject matter experts. Go ahead. Go
For
ahead.
plywood, yes, but not
Yes.
for instance.
So the question that they're arguing is, why did we include it in the assessment before? You can't include an assessment of something you have no idea what the cost is going to be, okay? Remember, we collected over $800,000 prior to the assessment, okay? So we will know better if we are needing to do an assessment for this. I don't think we do, but we will find out, okay?
Are you meaning that we would just handle the cost on our own as homeowners, just like we have with the windows? Is that what
The
you're?
windows are your responsibility
That's
under
not
the
what I'm saying, I
common
don't care about
laws.
what I'm saying, are you going, instead of it being an assessment, we would be covering the charge, not the association.
Okay, the plumbing, electrical, and mechanical was never in the original 4.6 million, okay? It's very clear. We can't assess on something of the unknown, okay? That's the progress of the project, okay? If we would assess, we would be assessing in something we don't even have an idea of what the costs are.
That's what
Then
estimates
we,
for.
let's say we short assessed, then we have to do another assessment, right? We will be working with the accounting firm. They are tracking all the expenses by phases where we are in the project. We were waiting for Mike Jankowski to return to the office to set up, have him come maybe perhaps the July meeting, and to show where we are in the process regarding the budgeted amounts for each and how much each phase collected in the 10 years, what each phase expense back in 2018. 2018 is when we started engaging and discussing.
Okay, going through the weeds, so the money, that's not the
Okay,
point.
continue. The point is-
Kick the can down the road.
I'm
You
not
knew
kicking
there
the
were
can.
going to be
I'm
expenses.
realistic.
No, you knew there were going to be expenses then, and you knew
If
that you
you-
were kicking the can down the road on the whole.
And it's the
instead of
full court
reporting us
subsidy
that
on the
happened.
We're
wall.
gonna continue. I'm not gonna
That's what
argue.
you did.
I'm not gonna argue.
Instead of being.
Stop.
No,
Stop. Larry, can you continue, please? Continue.
Okay, so this is the one for the first line item. Okay, so everyone is clear on that. So the scope of works will be produced as soon as early next week. So we
Excellent.
can get different.
And Farouk will be
vendors.
doing the scope of work
Yes.
based on your inspection of the
I will
front
give
and
you
the
the
back.
spreadsheet with everything.
Okay.
Thing is, we had a little delay which we had to complete to do this building 10. We could not get back access because every time we went there, they were the unit owners.
Okay,
And at this point, we still have not gotten access to the back of
okay.
Sean's units, so we
And you
have,
won't be until I get what I requested.
so we have no information for the back of these units. So
Okay.
the scope of works, I'm not too sure we get the price. we don't know what that
Yeah.
is.
So quick question, you went through all of the backyards for phase 2
Without
through,
proper notice,
1 through
For the
3?
last 15 minutes.
So you went through my backyard?
Yes.
Okay, just
I
making
told
sure.
you.
I didn't know if it did.
Well, we're supposed
Not
to
sure.
get a 24-hour notice, a 48-hour notice, but we didn't get that.
Excuse
excuse me.
There's
Wait,
what's missing right
wait.
now.
I sent, guys, notices was posted on every resident's door.
That was May 2nd, or May 20th, whatever it was, 30th. We're talking now a month later.
And on the notice, it said to keep your door open, keep your gate open. How do you expect us to go in the backyard?
That was a month ago.
Let me finish. How do you expect to go in the backyard and have everything done within days? You can't.
Well, everybody has to have notice. You have.
But the
people working.
notice, no, the
They own the
notice,
properties here.
Sean, the notice that was posted said that we're performing the inspection to leave your gate open.
One day.
How in the world you gonna do so much, how in the world you gonna do all those in one day?
Then you be careful how you post the notices. You don't just comply.
When you know something, Sean?
All right, let's not continue with the theatrics. Keep going, let's
Well,
get the agenda, let's get the agenda moving,
So they
please.
didn't really talk about
So what I'm trying to say that his
it. So what?
will be missing information from
Okay.
the person.
So let me ask you this, all right, the agenda item is, window assessments along the basic plumbing. Tell us the status, what have you completed and what have you not completed?
We have completed all the other units with all the line item, window assessment, except Sean's unit.
So, except
For the back of his unit.
one unit or one building?
His unit, just his unit, just the back of his unit,
Okay,
pick up the
perfect.
unit front.
All right, we'll move on. Update on drywall interior repairs that were caused by beam and truss replacement.
It's gonna be 2 weeks. The report is not gonna be ready.
We have the first report, which is the uppers, right? When will we get the final report for the engineer assessment of the bottom windows and doors?
Well,
In about
I'll
2
be
weeks.
all the information. Should we open it not by the end of next week, early next week after?
He said 2 weeks today.
Okay, remember, next week is the holiday.
2 weeks.
Okay.
Also, we
Okay.
have-
2 weeks.
So, for the record, then, 2 weeks, we
Yes.
will have the same
Yes.
assessment that we have in the upper windows, we will have for the lower windows and doors by the
Yes.
engineering firm.
But it will be a preliminary,
Why preliminary?
because the window is already installed, right? We don't have an idea about other items like the
Or
light.
frame.
We don't know.
That's what I was wondering, because we've been
Wait,
told
wait,
this
wait.
entire
Hold on,
time
let me finish.
that we need the window removed in order to assess it at all. Which was the
Exactly.
whole point of why this was such a pain in the ass, was because
Just
my window's already gonna be removed by the time I have to make a decision.
Thing is, according to Mr. Said, he asked us to do a preliminary inspection of the
Visual.
Correct.
Yeah.
On some of them, what we noticed is the weather strip around is dried up. We also noticed that the water comes, it sinks through the weather sill, which is dry out, and you could see the green stuff on the inside of the glass, which means that water is making way inside. And I'm not too sure if it's causing any damages, but you could see that there is water penetration from below the glass.
So most likely
Right.
the most extreme, you can
Right.
see.
Some of them you can see that residents have placed several layers of caulking on the lower seal. So this is just evidence that these windows are in excess of 30, 40 years old, that putting them into a new facade is going to do damage. There is no two way about it.
That's still irrelevant because the owners are responsible for replacing them. And if they feel they want to need to replace them, I don't care who comes in and
You're
says.
incorrect. The association is responsible,
banks decide about that.
listen, let me tell you
Because they're going to
something.
investigate all these.
When a window is failing, the association has the right to advise the unit owner because their window is compromising the envelope of the building, okay? Just like the upper windows. If you have 40-plus year windows, and you think that those 40-plus year windows are going to make it during this stage, I think you really need to reassess your windows, okay? Because the engineer is going to do a same letter advising the association that he highly recommends that the association does not let a window to be reinstalled based on his professional opinion, because it will compromise the envelope of the building. That will come from the engineer. This board is guided by the subject matter expert, and if he's saying
do not let, highly recommend that this particular window or door be reinstalled. This board has a fiduciary responsibility to listen to the subject matter experts, because if we don't, that is a liability to this association.
And so he's using unauthorized scopes such as furring strips when the bank probably hasn't
Okay,
even
so
approved
you
it.
weren't at the last meeting,
It
you
doesn't
stopped at
matter.
theatrics.
No, no,
Stay
no.
on the topic matter.
Look,
Okay?
right here.
Stay
Chase,
on the
right here.
topic matter,
And you
Mr.
guys stood
Construction
still on this
Expert.
email, so
Stay on the
that's-
subject matter. So, moral of the story is, once the engineer does the same assessment that he did for the upper windows, there will be photos,
Good.
he'll decide whether they pass or fail. Okay? It's that simple. All right? We've been talking about windows for a long time. You all know your units. There are many unit owners that have already throughout the year have upgraded their windows and doors. I don't know, but I would assume if they're not original windows, I think there's a chance they stay. You guys have seen some of the conditions of those windows, okay? All right, let's jump to, before we were rudely interrupted, let's go to drywall repairs, please.
From the list of the 15 buildings Austro has done, I would say at least 30 to 40%.
I don't want percentage, I want exactly how many units Ulster has completed.
Okay, so we have all the spreadsheet there with all 15 buildings. On building 1, they have done two of them. And 2 others, they left notices because I guess this isn't a home. On building 2, they did, let me see,
Okay,
1, 2,
Larry,
yeah.
don't get me started. We expect a report, a spreadsheet. I don't want to know how many buildings, how many units. I
Well,
want
that's
to
a
know the
spreadsheet.
unit number. I want to know the building. We need to know the unit number for our records. Weren't you working with them on a spreadsheet?
I just gave the spreadsheet today.
Yes.
to
Where is it?
That's what I'm looking at.
But I have to try.
What are the
Yeah.
unit numbers that are completed? We have residents here that need to
Send it
know.
to- send
What
it to-
units were completed?
Send it to Barry.
No, because I have to put it into a spreadsheet that we created, I just started this afternoon.
What units have been completed?
Just say for good spreadsheet.
The units completed. We have repairs being done on building 1, 1701, as we speak.
These are completed, correct?
Yes, 1709, building 1.
Building or phase one?
Building 1, what phase 1? Building 1. We have building 2,
That's phase one.
yes,
What's the unit number?
1729.
Okay.
Here, and building 3, 1741, 1749, 1753.
Okay, is that, how many, to go up to 53 in phase one?
I think it goes
64.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we're still in phase one.
Yes,
So in phase one, we have 1701, 1709, 1729, 1741, 1749, 1753.
correct.
So you only have 6. How many were damaged? How many units were damaged in
Well,
phase one?
in phase 1, basically all the buildings had some little repairs to be done.
Okay. So,
Basically, so it's like there are some areas where they put notice on the front door because they can't get access to the unit because it doesn't
Okay.
have a phone.
okay. So in phase one, that's it? Nobody else has been finished?
Yeah, we have building 3.
What unit?
Building 3, 7, oh, we did building 3. We're going to building 4, where building 4 notices were left on the front doors.
What
they can't
unit?
get access.
What unit, please?
For all the notices,
Yes.
that is better we just send you the spreadsheet because
But it has to go into the spreadsheet that we have working on that you just used. And there's other people that. have to
because in
work on
building
this.
4 we have 1740 no issues, 1744 needs repair, 48 needs repair, 52 notice left on front door, 56 notice left on front door. Building 5, 1716 repairs completed, 1720 it has to be repaired, 1724 notice left left on front door.
I'm sorry, 1744?
24.
1724?
Notice left on front door. 1728 and 1732, no issues.
1728, 1732, no issues.
And 1736, repairs are not yet done.
Is there anybody here in phase one?
Building 6,
What unit are you?
that's phase 1.
48.
So the last building in phase 1 is
So
building 6.
notices, did you get the notice on your door?
Yeah, to email Dorian,
Yes,
and the guy, he actually came to my house and saw what,
for the drywall.
yeah.
Okay, perfect.
And it was done, right?
Now, since that was done, and they were up on the easement by the windows, there's a crack now coming down the wall. The guy came in and took a look at it. Can't send a picture of it because of the color of my wall. You can't see it from a photo. But the guy that was going around the other day, I was outside, he came in and took a look at it, jot down some information.
Okay, so Doran, 1740, there were no issues. 1744, 1748, 1752, and 1756 in phase one still have to be done.
And the last building in phase 1, which is building 6, you have 1700, the repairs were done. 1704, I think they have to review the repairs they did. And 1708, the unit owner, I think, made an insurance claim. That's what they have noted, the insurance claim, so I'm not too sure where it's going with that. 1712, also did the repairs, so that's it for building 1.
1712 what?
The repairs are complete.
Repairs complete.
That's it for phase 1. Now, phase 2, which is building 7, 1701, has a bathroom leak, which we are about to do an test. We need to do a water test to see where the water is coming from.
Yeah, that's Tuesday.
Yeah, so we scheduled it for Tuesday. We're going to go to do a water test on the water to see where the water is coming
It's
from.
on the wall?
They say it's entering into the
Somebody has
bathroom.
went into the unit.
Okay.
So we need to really determine if it's coming from the foundation or if it's coming from the wall.
Which we don't think it is.
So,
Or the window maybe?
or the window.
The window is right there.
The window is right at the bathroom. So
The
we're going to
money's
do a
on the
water
window,
test.
so ahead, what else?
All right. 1705, drywall repairs completed. 1709, no issues. 1713, repairs needs to be done. It's not yet done.
Hold on, you're going fast. 1709, no issues, drywall completed in 1705, what else?
1713, the repairs are not done yet.
The
And
repair.
1717 and 1721, the repairs are completed. Building 8. 1725 and 1729 has no issues.
No issues?
No issues. 1733 and 1737, notice left on front door. 1741, the repairs are being done.
17 what?
41,
41 repairs in progress?
yes.
Okay,
Building 9.
okay.
1745, repairs completed. 1749, they have to review some other stuff on the inside. 1753, 1757, and 1761, the repairs are not done yet.
When he came to my town, 1750.
That's phase 3, right? So that's the reason.
Did you mention 1749?
Oh,
Yes, they have to go back in the unit to cross-check something.
Yes.
Okay. Building 10, 1740, repairs completed. 1744, 1748, 1752, and 1756, they left notices at the front door.
Okay, it's 44, 48, 52, and 56 notices on door?
Yes.
Well,
1760.
Can you stop there for a second?
All
Because
the
I know
facts.
Building 10 has possibly a foundation in this unit, which is on the end. And I know that probably hasn't even brought up, and since I know we corrected the foundation in phase 4.
That's the first time I'm hearing about
Yeah.
this.
We don't know.
Beth put in the portal of possible foundation leak. Did you see that?
Well, which unit is that?
I don't know.
It was a lawsuit. I mean,
I don't know. Beth Haynes,
Oh, yeah, I spoke with her.
yes?
Yes.
Perfect.
But she didn't say anything about the lawsuit.
still says she has water coming in from the floor.
Which unit is that?
I know.
So,
What unit is that,
On 1733, you had mentioned you left a note. All of my information has been forwarded to the management company, just so you know.
They have it all.
Okay.
Do you have Lauren Foster?
I have-
Larry, the unit number.
Anyway, moving along, 1760, it says owner fixed, so I'm not too sure.
Can we double check with the owner?
I never had access to that unit. It's only Doreen that has to sign the document in order to access.
first of all, no one's come in my house because I haven't authorized it.
Sean, where were you live? 1740
Uh-huh.
Northwest 73rd Avenue.
She's 1740
Also
Northwest.
1740.
Yes.
So it's on the other end, that's the lady we went by today.
Exactly. And we're scheduling to go into the unit.
Okay,
It
so.
doesn't make sense, these notices are like,
All right, 1760, owner fixed it.
We have no idea what happened next time, so
The owner hasn't claimed anything yet.
Go ahead.
No, Doreen put on the spreadsheet owner fixed, so as I said, we have no, I will do repairs to a unit that we have
So
no
we'll
access.
contact the unit owner. Okay, go
Right,
ahead.
we have no access to this unit, so I can't do something.
What a scam, man.
What else?
This is a scam.
Okay, we'll go into building 11.
Uh-huh.
1712, repairs not done yet.
They're not?
No, not done yet. 1716, notice left at front door. 1720, it's scheduled to be done maybe later down early next week. 1724.
Hold on, early next week, go ahead.
Yeah. 1724, repairs are not done yet. On 1728, Austria did some repairs, but it's not completed. 1732, notice left on the front door. 1736, some repairs were done, it's not completed.
Okay.
Building 12. 1700, repair completed. 1704, repair not done yet. 1708, repair completed.
1708, repairs completed?
Yes. Building 13. 1701, notice left on front door. 1705, repair completed.
I'm sorry,
1709.
1705, repairs completed?
Yes, 1709, notice left on the front door.
Okay.
Building 14. 1717, notice left on the front door. 1721, repair completed. 1725, notice left on the front door. 1729.
Give me a minute, 1721, repair completed, what's the next one?
1725,
Okay.
notice left on front door. 1729, no issues. 1733, repair scheduled for the 6th of the 26th.
626, or 626?
Yes, they completed today the repairs.
So they were-
626.
Yeah, they were working on it today.
Okay. Do we know if they're done?
I'm pretty sure they're done.
At 17?
We don't know.
Okay.
We don't
This
know.
is all phase 2?
That should be phase 3.
This is phase 3. Was the previous 1700 to 1709, was that phase 2 or phase 3?
From building from 1701, it's phase 3.
I have 1700 to, okay.
1700 is phase 2. 1700 to 1708 is phase 2. Phase 3 starts at 1701.
All right, so you're in phase 3. What comes after phase 3, 1733?
1733 and 1737, there's no issues. And 1741, there's a note prior leak damages, so the HOA needs to deal with that. And the last building, which is building 15, 1745, 1749, 1753, 1757, and 1761, repairs needs to be done, they're not scheduled yet.
All right, say that again. 1745, 1749, 1753.
57, 61. They need repairs, but it has not been done yet.
All those need repairs,
Yes.
still pending.
And 1765, it noted that the owner did the repairs themselves.
All right, so these repairs. Okay, gentlemen, do you have a schedule for this? Are you getting in touch with unit owners.
This is what we do every day.
Yes, and
And Diana is doing.
We had when we were on the property today, and we had a meeting, and I made a suggestion. You guys, as the board, can tell me no, let them do their own thing. But, number one, with the notice posted, because we don't know what the notice says, so we might want to create another notice after you get a copy of their notice, and create another notice to let the residents know we need to access a unit. We can't go by a resident saying, I have no damage. Because when we were doing the inspections, people were coming up and saying, oh, I have damage, it wasn't taken care of, but you said you didn't have any damage. So number one, we still need them to sign a form, know that I have no damage, not that we don't believe the residents. One, that we have no damage. Two, that my damages were taken care of. Three, my unit was seen, in whatever sequence.
Right.
But we need to have documentation because, when you talk to the residents on the phone, they're saying one thing and, so even like that one in phase two, the one moving next Tuesday.
That's in phase 2.
It's phase 2, yeah. So we've dealt with that particular person more than once.
Okay, so
So-
what is your plan?
So we're getting together. We'll have the notice. We'll redo the notice, you guys can see it. And then, just like we did when we needed to enter the backyards, is have the notices posted, scheduled to go into the units, and then do the inspection, have them sign off.
So I only ask that just remember, some of these units are occupied by tenants.
Yes,
So you
you
need
contact
to
the owner
contact
and
the owner.
yeah, just like we do,
Okay,
Janice one of them.
okay.
So on that notice, you would have contact us to schedule
Yeah,
a time.
because we
That's
will give
much
them,
better
yes,
than
because we're here
just-
Tuesdays and Thursdays. If some people have can do mornings, then we'll accommodate.
Yeah.
We'll do mornings or afternoon, So if some people are working so much that they can't meet, we will schedule them, we'll take one Saturday and schedule, right, Lauren? Just one. One
Okay,
Saturday.
is there any unit owner that, we just mentioned that any of the information that was reported is incorrect? Yes,
1700, phase 3, what's wrong with that?
it says repairs complete. This is
There's
drywall.
something wrong with it.
What?
You didn't have any problems there.
700 phase 3.
Oh, I'm sorry, that's phase 2. I'm sorry, 1700, we haven't gone to 1700 phase 3.
No, I thought it was staying phase 3 before.
No, sorry, 1700 is phase 2. Let's finish with phase 1. Anybody, phase 1 or phase 2? Yes.
I'm the phase 1, building 2, 1721. I just called the tenant, they said they don't have a notice.
I suggest you post and take a picture.
Exactly.
It's ridiculous. So your tenant is saying there's no notice on the door?
He said that they
Owners.
Okay, 17-1, phase 1 is you reported repair needed or repair complete, Larry? 1721, phase 1.
Your phase 1, young lady?
Phase 1,
That's
building
building
2.
2. It needs repair.
No, this is phase 1.
Well, phase 1721 phase 1, repairs needed. I never said there a notice was left. I said repair needed. It needs repair.
Okay, I just want
So
to
there
be
is
sure
not
about
legal
that.
notice on this unit, correction.
Okay, just want to
Alright,
make sure
the note
about
on the spreadsheet is repairs needed inside of it.
But they get in an email.
They're getting
Just
emails
not-
and
yes,
postings.
we just not gonna, and on the mailboxes.
Oh,
Sure.
If I may, because some of us have tenants and things are getting ripped off the doors, I appreciate if you could contact via email to the owners,
Yes.
someone give a call like you have.
Yes.
Which I appreciate.
Yes.
That way you having the owners
Absolutely.
know,
Yeah.
because those flyers, especially with this winter being gone.
And she's on Thursday, and Sherman is tomorrow at 4.
Yeah. anybody in phase 3, the unit numbers that did we finish all of phase 3?
Yes.
Yeah. Anybody in phase 3 that the units were mentioned, that they either had no issues, repairs pending, or repairs completed? Yes, ma'am?
I don't have issue, well, I do have an issue. I'm still wondering when am I going to get the screens that was missing at 1740.
That's directly with the contractor. What, Dora, what are you going to do
Phase
about
three,
phase 3?
for the window.
What
Phase
phase?
3?
Phase 3, 1740. I've been missing the screens. The,
Lorraine, I thought you said you had.
no, they never put them back.
Put the screen for the window or for
The screens for the window and the sliding door.
What were they?
They threw them out probably.
I remember.
1740.
I remember that one was knocked out. Okay.
No, that was
It's gonna be done next week.
Can you see me after the meeting so I can get your info?
Can I?
Can I see you after the meeting?
Okay,
So I can
yes.
get your info.
Thank you.
Because we don't want to just tell people, we don't want to tell the residents, oh, we'll do this next week if it's really not scheduled, because that pisses them off. You know what I mean? So, yeah.
But this is way before you guys came here. I've been missing the screens, so I'm still fighting to get them, and I'm gonna get them.
So I guess we'll talk later, they need to come and finish what they did. The work was very sloppy, like caulking just to cover holes, and so I'll show you, you know what I mean, when you guys go. In regards to the paint, are you guys painting? What, so there was a big, I probably remember, like they went through the roof in, and they broke one of my walls. And now it was just like patched up, very messy, it still needs to be sanded. And the paint, why am I responsible for the paint when the construction company broke the wall? I mean, I have the paint, I'll give them the paint.
No, the association doesn't.
I know exactly how long credit.
But if you,
So
do you
what,
want
so
to
I need
see
to
the
hire the
pictures?
attorney? So we have to hire the attorney or?
To get a paint, it's on the documents, no association paints.
You understand what
But if you
happened?
made the hole.
You made the hole, you made the big hole like
I
this.
don't even know who you guys are, that's what I'm trying to get
The
information.
association did not make the whole,
Patty
the
knows why.
contractor made
Oh,
the
okay.
whole.
What's the unit?
1749.
Okay.
So the guy who was working, he did a mistake and he made the hole like this, look. Like this, in the hole. So I had to paint.
Young man.
When my husband finishes talking, I'll answer.
So how you want me to replace?
Okay, stop.
How you want me to replace?
We need
You think the driver is
information.
gonna
What
see?
phase? What
That's
phase?
for
You have to pay, you need.
Phase 2, 1749. I
The guy
said
told me,
four
oh,
times.
sorry, I did a mistake. I get the hammer in the wall, so when I have to pay.
We don't go by unit number.
Phase 2, what unit number?
1749.
I won't pay the
1749.
paint.
They put it into the water.
I don't know. That's good.
The paint is not.
That's in the patio?
What?
In your patio?
No, inside the house.
Inside the
In
house.
Like where the ceiling, where the roof goes like this, like, I'll
Young
show you the
lady,
picture.
young lady, if I could get your information after the meeting, please.
I just gave it to Patty and Blair, and I sent you many emails about it with all the pictures, probably 3 times.
What's
That's
that?
it.
What's your name?
It's in the portal. Vanessa Wolkoff.
Oh,
I
okay.
see it, yes.
Wolf or Wolkoff? Wolkoff. WOLCOFF. I'm looking for the pictures, I'll be happy to
No,
share it.
I just want, I've never met you, I just wanted to know.
I understand it's construction. The guy said, I'm sorry, I did a mistake. Okay, fix it. Why I have to paint the big hole like this when he did a mistake? It's not my fault.
Understood.
We're gonna just get with the people.
Huh?
We'll get with them, because I need to get with Dora
You're gonna get with Dora? Okay.
and start
More to
scheduling.
follow on the paint. Okay?
Thank you.
Diana has to work through the contractor.
We're gonna, yeah.
And I bought the paint. I bought the paint the same color.
say
I
something
put the-
positive.
Opposite.
They
Huh?
can, it's
The water
right,
bid?
stop
Yes.
the street.
Okay, what unit number are you in?
1721 phase 2, they fixed it in
1721 phase 2?
Building 7, yeah. They did that.
1721 repairs, good.
Yeah.
1721 So they did a great job, I just wanted to give some positives.
And mine was
You know,
done
they,
well.
they spent a lot of time, they passed every little thing, every little crack, I just wanted to notify the board.
Thank you, good. Mine was well done also. Thank you, gentlemen. I didn't know who I was. The repair guys had no idea who I was because I wasn't home.
All right, let's continue. Discussion and final decision on exterior patio ceilings. Discussion, this is a fucking kindergarten class here.
Because you made one.
Okay, let's
It's
go.
all you. This is
Let's
work
go.
for your
Let's go. Larry, let's go with the agenda,
Final
please.
decision to be made on exterior patio ceilings. This we had discussion, Saeed, myself, and Ostro, on this issue. And basically, as Ostro is stating that this is not part of the contract, Saeed, we had a discussion where Ostro says they're not going to do it free of charge.
Okay.
So basically, well, you asked me about that this week. I think it's better that you get the contract reviewed through the attorney, because this is not like a listed item.
Okay, let me make this very perfectly clear, Larry, as I made it to Farouk and I made it to you in the last construction meeting. Those patio ceilings in phase 1, 2, and part of 3 had finished patio ceilings,
No,
okay?
that was decking, because they had roofing decking, no patio ceiling.
Had a finished look, don't interrupt me, I'm gonna ask you to leave. Don't interrupt
I
me
leave
because I'm
if
gonna
you want.
ask you to leave.
I leave
I'm not
if
here
you
to
want.
fight with you. I'm here to claim what the association's right. So
Yeah.
if you don't wanna hear it, I ask you to step out.
You want me to leave?
No,
Yes, please.
Levi, just
Please.
stop.
Thank
Oh, for
you.
God's sake.
All right.
Please, let's go.
No, no, no,
No,
no,
I'm
no.
not talking about. No. Don't fuck with me.
Okay,
Please,
so let's
don't.
continue.
Please don't do that.
So Larry,
Have a
we
nice
had this discussion with the
Hey, and one more thing
engineer.
I have to say, the window what they replaced in the building, just let me finish. They replaced window and the roof is damaged. And the party is not,
We're
the freaking air conditioning.
gonna deal with damaged third-party
This is
window
typical,
installs.
we have-
Okay.
This is
So-
the people that you hire, no?
We're taking that against for the competition.
I'm gonna.
Well,
Okay, so Larry, let me make it very perfectly clear. The units had a finished look, it doesn't matter what it was, most of it was like T111 like it is out here. I don't care if you call it decking, I don't care what you did, they were finished. It wasn't plywood with nails through it, okay? Now, this is gonna be a legal issue, I've already responded, I sent an email to Rhonda, she needs to intervene with the contractor. These unit owners are getting a finished look, and I expect that the engineer, who's rational, can't tell me that that's gonna be acceptable or that we have to pay. Tough, they had a responsibility to review these buildings. I don't care what they say, I care what the contract says. These unit owners are gonna have a finished look and they're not, when the association's not paying a dime, okay? Period. So we will send it to legal and he can say all he wants. But these unit owners are getting a finished look and we expect the engineer on record to support this association. Because anybody that looks at what was there before and what's there now is common sense that it's not a finished look.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Just a background
Are you
that
prepared to withhold money from the contract?
We already have in our contract, the progress payments already have a retainer.
I know, I saw that, but I figured just in case there's, because we're
Yes.
going to a whole lot more.
It has to be completed.
When the structure starts, if they don't finish that patio ceiling with something, now, I also want to be clear on record. This association voted for T111 to be replaced with hardy board. If the engineer says, sorry, but hardy board cannot be replaced to have that look, then this association, that's a material alteration, and they have to re-vote on the material that's decided.
I understand it clearly. T111 can be used.
It
But
can?
It can be.
We voted to remove
I
T111.
understand.
You can't go back
I mean, hardboard can be used, sorry.
Okay,
It
perfect.
can be used. Because
Perfect.
it's on the outside, it can be used on the inside. It's just a shiny material.
Everything at the same time.
He did it in phase 4. He already admitted that he did do it in phase 4.
As I said, this is
As a favor, but that's a change.
We as engineers, the engineering firm, we supervise the works according to what's in the contract. But if there's a gray area like this one,
There is no gray area. There is not. What gray area is there?
as long as the attorney will say fine.
There is no gray area, and as project manager, you better do the right thing. That is not a finished look.
I know it's not.
They need to put hardy board, if the engineer says hardy board can be the finished look, guess what? Hardy board is going out, because that's what these unit owners voted on, okay? Where this board will not accept anything less. And as project manager, you're gonna fight back, and we're gonna include our attorney on this fight, because this is included in the contract. If they didn't think about it, tough titty said the kitty. That's it. That's the stand this association has. I'm sorry. We will hold that payment. We will hold that
So,
payment.
just to piggyback on what you're saying, so that, because not everybody's read the contract, there is a clause, there's 8.1, contractor warrants and represents the association that has visited the site of work, has carefully studied all
Absolutely.
reports, test drawings, or all documentation provided by the association's representative, which is the engineer, or reflected in the contract documents, examine the actual job conditions.
Yeah.
And AC units too, all that stuff, okay, and that the contractor is familiar with local conditions and all things required that allow the bearing on performance of contractor's work and contractor's costs, including but not limited to traffic maintenance, disposal, handling, storage of materials, access and restrictions to the units, access roads to the site, the conditions of the work area, the character of the work. We're talking about the ceilings. Contractor shall be responsible to perform any additional inspections and conduct any necessary tests as may require to determine the suitability of the site conditions. Contractor hereby assumes the risk of performing all work necessary to accomplish the intent of the contract documents, even if it requires the contractor to perform additional unforeseen work. Failure on the part of the contractor to completely or properly evaluate any factors of cost prior to signing this agreement shall not form a basis for additional compensation. Execution of this agreement shall be conclusive evidence that the contractor has investigated and is satisfied as to the site conditions to be encountered, as to the character, quality, and quantities of work to be performed, and materials to be furnished, and as to the requirements of the contract document.
And that's our.
That alone is enough for
So
y'all
I
to just
recommend that you as
smack it.
project manager really study that contract. And you are paid to represent this association. So you are going to
there's a higher
argue with
level of
Ostro.
accountability.
You're gonna argue with Ostro, and you're gonna get the backup from our engineer on record.
And attorney.
It is
And bank
not right.
Okay, as I
Okay?
said, I
I wanna
will
be
decide
clear.
again.
The association is not absorbing what they wanted to charge $2,000 per building to do a ceiling finish. Guess what? It ain't gonna happen. And we will hold it back from the retainer of this contract.
Well, the bank's gonna check to make sure
Perfect.
the scopes.
So, you hear what I'm saying?
Okay,
So what I'm saying, I don't wanna hear the subject matter of that. Ostro is not assisting because we're gonna get Ron involved already. It's a contractual issue which none of us are gonna deal with. The attorney's gonna deal with it. I don't care what Levi says, I don't care what Doran says, I care what the contract says.
And the bank.
And we went through this like
And the
3 construction meetings back where I said that to Levi about if you are, there is actually a stipulation in the contract that if he does not put in a change order and he decides to do something as a favor, the contract clearly states that that means you've taken on the responsibility of that. So if you did it in phase 4, you need to do it all the way throughout. You've already set a precedent that you're going to do the work. That's it.
Amen. Let's go. Any questions regarding this before we move on?
Or in the middle, actually.
Yes.
Who's doing the roof inspections? After the roofs are done, who's inspecting the roofs?
In what sense?
As far as being finished roofs, finished work?
The city.
The city already passed the inspection. All the roof permits are closed, inspected and closed.
Because isn't that patio part of the roof and
No.
it's covered?
Not under the under part. That doesn't
The under
count.
part, that's
And that's
separate.
technically simply not a part of the roof, that's like a
The
on.
ceiling, we're talking
That's
about.
not-
What you
Yeah, I understand, because that's not, I
The
don't.
roof is everywhere you have shingles.
Right, but my previous house, they left nails there and they did not pass the inspection because that was not a completed roof.
Madge has been through, Madge, you want to tell us the whole process you went through with these roofs and the inspector?
Actually, it's just from where exactly you want me to start.
Sorry?
Where do you want me to start?
Start what?
From the beginning.
She's in building, you're building 4?
Yeah, I guess so.
4 or 6, one of the back ones, those are buildings. Let them know what you're talking about, where are you seeing the
nails?
The nails.
It's in my enclosed screen patio.
Okay, so we're talking about patio. Now, everybody has, if you have a patio overhang that's not stucco, you have plywood with, that's what we're already.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm saying, that's not a completed.
No, that's what we're saying.
That's what I'm saying, that's what I'm saying.
They need to go up there.
That's what we're saying.
It has to happen finished.
That's what I'm going to have the inspection.
And the finish is gonna be hardy board, according to already the engineer for hardy board to start. That's what the association voted, so the finish of the ceiling is gonna be hardy board.
Right.
What's the discussion and argument is Oscar saying, we're gonna charge you extra for that. They're not.
No, I understand that, but I'm saying whoever did that inspection, that's not a.
That's not part of the rule.
No, it's not finished.
But if they're going to expect it, they need to see the nails.
Yeah, when they inspect this, they finish the final inspection of the structure and all that, they're gonna note that, okay?
Yeah.
All right, the discussion on how to handle first floor window and door replacement. Well, we already discussed this, we won't know anything until the engineer report.
Well, basically, that's it. But then this item was supposed to be joined with the one status on supply of lower windows as discussed to be held in storage. See, well, during that, they were supposed to update us on the price list for these windows, which they have not sent.
Isn't it in the contract,
The one?
the prices?
No, you see, right now, you see all these lower unit windows, they have many different dimensions.
No, but they're all listed there, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, not in the contract.
What is not?
Yeah.
What was that supplement
And
action?
slides.
It is, there's sliding
Sliders,
doors,
everything is in the
contract, there's.
I don't think the prices are in the contract.
Yes,
they
yes,
are.
yes.
Okay, I'm sorry, I don't remember
They're
seeing
listed.
that.
They're listed.
And I compared what he priced to me to what he had listed on there, and he's listed it just at cost. Because he's doing the labor for free. That's what he said.
No, they're not.
Boom.
Well, okay, so that's not only making for
He said, I only get $400 for the two top windows. I said, okay, I give you $400 and install my old window. You know what happened? Somebody broke my window. Somebody stole my window because I don't know who removed the window from my backyard. So the next time when I saw somebody from the construction or somebody inside my yard doing something,
The fixed windows are cheaper because he's quoting people $1,900.
That's what I said. What I got
Exactly.
was the top
And
windows.
I went to go look for those windows and I can get them for $900. So that's $1,000 more for labor to put those in now.
Well, and the permit.
But yeah.
The permit's like $100.
Exactly.
The permit.
And who gave you that price of $900?
Yeah, my dad went to windows. He's asked me.
It's the same.
No,
Yeah.
it's
So Astra gets their windows, Astra orders their windows to a supplier, I believe it's ABC Supply, which is one of the largest suppliers in South Florida for all construction items. They get special bulk pricing, and that's why they're able to get us good prices on the windows. I replaced everything in my unit with somebody else, and they came in slightly higher, but I went with them because I couldn't wait for Astra any longer. But the prices in Astra were good. Now, let me just say, we just got an email because all this tariff and aluminum comes sometimes from overseas and all this tariff BS. They confirmed that the supplier was not increasing, which is PGT, is not increasing their prices that are quoted, because that was the concern we had with all these tariffs. And they confirmed, we have that email from Doran, that the supplier for the windows is not increasing.
So their prices so far are the same.
So with regards to,
Well, I know, yes.
we can't have windows on hand, are you saying to help move along the structure, you would, I guess we have to wait for you to tell us which windows are at risk, so we know.
Probably generally, from looking at the windows that we went around doing, I would suggest that all of them are replaced. Because most of them, they're same age, they have been exposed to the same weather, the sun, the heat.
Crumbling.
Most of them are crumbling. So it's like, you can't even determine if we can leave this one or not. Because by the time it's removed and it's handled,
Yes.
all of the unit owners that have new windows, that's a whole separate issue. But most of the, like you're talking about, the windows that are existing from since the community development was built, they're in bad shape.
They're beyond useful
So
life.
basically, we are going to suggest that all be replaced.
Of course you are, but you've been.
But that's
That's going to be determined by the engineer.
Well, yes.
That's going to be determined by,
The
in the
engineer can
same,
determine if non is gonna place
in the
it.
same
Sorry,
format
exactly,
that
yes.
the
You will get the
engineer had the
documentation.
inspections done and then his
Yes.
letter.
I will send you the document with
Okay.
everything.
But when the banks come back, which you've been noticed.
Yes, go ahead.
Everybody here's on
I spoke with
notice,
Jordan.
because you got this email,
I
right?
spoke with Jordan outside before the meeting, because I've been asking, 4 times I asked him for a price for my windows, and he's not gotten back with me, so I
It's on the
said,
website. On the website.
I know, but I want it in writing.
Yeah, I will.
We don't all have
Just
one
say
financial.
I signed contracts.
You say, I want to
I
know.
want a contract.
I don't
Go ahead.
So he said,
Too many stories been floating around this
we
room.
can't give out prices now, he won't put anything in writing, because he has to wait for all the inspections to be finished, and that's gonna take a good 2 weeks, and then he's gonna go
The
back.
inspections that the engineer's done.
Yes, and then he's gotta wait for all the reports to be written up, and then he's gonna start contacting individual owners about windows, and then he can start giving prices to
Wait,
us.
for the
Yes.
bottom windows?
That's what he said to me outside.
None of that makes any.
That was the notice.
That's what
None of
he,
this makes any
that's what he said, because I said, do you want to do the windows for
If
me
he
or not?
asks the contractor directly for a price, all he has to do is go to a unit, measure the openings, and
Ladies
give us.
and gentlemen,
Send me a
all the
contract.
windows and all the window openings, upper and lower, are an addendum in our contract with bulk pricing, okay? This is over a year, or 2 years ago, I don't know when we signed the contract, 2023.
We've heard
They're
so many
there.
stories.
What you need to do, and there's a picture, a drawing, you need to see which window matches the one that you have on the
So many
bottom.
stories
And he
versus
will,
the
he
engineer
will,
versus-
he
versus-
will
Now-
confirm.
That's what
He
it
will
boils down to.
confirm, would you shut up?
No, I will
I'm
not. And
speaking,
thank
you have not been called
I don't
up.
care. You're a volunteer just like
Do
everybody
you
else.
see this?
So,
Officer,
you can't remove it.
please.
Listen,
Shut.
hey,
Just keep it cordial, open.
but she overreacted.
Listen, yes.
I
Okay,
am trying to
Listen,
speak.
hey, wait, let me speak. Calm down. One of you speak at a time and that's it.
Well,
This isn't daycare.
if lives are being
Exactly.
told to community,
So you raise your
if
hand.
lives are being told to community, it's my duty, fiduciary duty, to advise the community of
Okay,
this.
so what's your part of the association?
I'm a board member
You're a board member? Okay.
and an owner.
Okay, hold on. She's the
But I
president.
don't think anyone's asking you
Volunteer.
to,
I'm asking.
like,
Volunteer.
spot out
I'm asking.
twice.
Is she the
Yes,
president? I don't know.
Yes, I am, officer.
Let her speak. She's the president. She was voting.
Okay, well, they voted for her. not
Okay.
everybody.
But no one's asking you.
I'm
to.
sharing the meeting, I'm trying to get through the
I
agenda.
got her video threatening.
Stop with the interruptions.
This is legal,
Okay.
legal matter.
All
Legal
right,
matter.
yeah, wait, whatever.
Yeah, well, when it comes to-
I'm sorry, who was asking the question, please? Jan,
I was advising what Jordan said to me outside.
Okay.
That was the exact conversation. I just want a contract, I'll sign it, I'll give you your money, let's go. It's been weeks.
okay, this is exactly why I went with another party.
Yeah.
Okay, because they have so many balls in the air.
I know.
So I kept asking, give me a contract, give me a contract, I didn't get it, so I got my own third party.
Well, I
If
got
you're
it.
interested, you can ask, they did a great job, they did other jobs in the community, other unit owners wanted to know, because I shared with them my price gone on. We move on.
I called that company. They did give me an estimate, and it was quite a bit higher than Doran's prices.
So the prices that make,
Those are different units, so.
you have different
It's
sizes.
just 4 windows, and the price was at least $1,500 more for 4 windows.
All right.
Also, they yes. Yes, ma'am.
I have just one question. So we got the prices for this.
Guys, please, everybody, stop talking over each other. Yes.
We didn't get the pricing for the fixed triangular ones.
The trapezoids?
The trapezoids, we didn't get it. I asked many, many times. We never got that. They go, and then Levi came over and said, oh, it's just a fix, it was just a piece of glass. I said, no, we want a hurricane, of course.
Correct.
So we never got those. And they had said also, Larry, that when they were going to do the sliding glass doors, they were going to have to cut like 4 inches into the, our units, which I went, well, no. Most places, if you get the thing, you don't have to cut more out.
No. What I told Ostro,
She doesn't listen.
sliding glass doors, we are not going to touch them unless if the frame around it is rotten or damaged. I have said that to them on several occasions. Every time we go walking around door and ask about the sliding glass door, I tell him,
Are you talking about the buckwood?
the sliding glass doors.
No, you say you're not gonna touch the frame.
The frame, because you can remove the T111 plywood that's existing, put in your new plywood, put in your hardy board sheet without touching the
If the
sliding
frame
glass.
is in good condition,
If the
not
frame is in
damaged.
good, but if the frame is in bad condition, if it's damaged, then we will have to remove the sliding glass door, repair the frame. And as I told them already, the sliding glass doors, I don't really see the need to change them because they are okay.
And I told you that.
But,
Because there's hardly anything around.
Yeah.
yes.
And
Almost take it, almost take it up.
Very
Basically, the sliding glass doors don't need.
Why can't take this out? That thing just goes.
Okay, so Larry, what about the trapezoid?
Okay, wait.
What about the trapezoid?
The trapezoidal thing, I told them the same. When I looked at it, I told them there's just a strip around. You can remove the outer strip, that's a framing. Change the T111, put in your hardy board frame and put another frame. You don't have to remove the trapezoidal glass.
Thank you. That's what
Unless, if when you're doing the work, let's say it breaks or something of that nature.
So Cheryl,
Or if the unit owner wants to
a lot of
put a new
people
frame,
didn't
fine.
touch the trapezoid. I changed it out, but when they did phase 4, you do have units with trapezoids, and that, we were concrete, but if the wood around the trapezoid was heated or something, they would change it, right? But I don't think any unit owner.
But if you want to change the trapezoid and put hurricane impact ones, you're free to do so.
Okay.
You understand? You can get it ready for them. Get it ready for them when they're there. If they choose to install it for you, they will. Or if you want to get a good part
Okay, we
installed,
just never got a price.
it's up to you.
Cheryl, when
This is
we
what
meet,
happened to me, Cheryl. I didn't have patience to wait. I went with SoFlo. John and Jerry are the owners. Look at the reviews. The five-star
S-O-F-L-O.
SoFlo, yeah, Impact Windows. Thank you.
Cheryl, when we meet at 4 tomorrow, we'll tackle that price.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate your
All
time.
right.
They're excellent. I'm telling you, if you get Marcelo, the installer, he'll be very happy.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So I just, going back to being represented, whoever we're paying, like for instance, I got a really bad experience from the attorney that it seems like everybody takes the place of Astro and they're defending Astro. We're the paying customers. We're not defending Astro.
Rhonda's not the-
Rhonda, thank you very much.
Our
I guess
emails are not the nicest.
Yes, the emails are disgusting how she
emails are you
supports.
getting from Rhonda?
For instance, with this whole, you should see, I sent the pictures of the mess they made inside my house. And I said, you know what, it's very simple. If they can't, I will have my uncle's attorney, which is, we have another property which the tenant walked in the other day and the sliding window had been taken out without notice. But anyway, and I said, if it takes, all I have to do, I said, do me a favor, give me the insurance information to Astro and I'll have my insurance deal with it.
Which is, it's in the website.
So I didn't know. So I asked, and I was attacked Like, they're representing Astro, and Astro has every right, and nobody will replace your window, and nobody will pay for they came, they broke my windows that were outside. You don't know what I was gonna do. Maybe I was gonna go do stained art, glass stained art, whatever.
And they put a note over the mechanism broken. I put W40 and the mechanism was good. So how can I trust on the people who's coming to say, oh, the window, that window doesn't work, oh, my window
Because
doesn't
the
work.
person that's walking around with the window, that's going to do the final determination is the engineer of record, which is.
Oh, so the
It's
engineer
not
doesn't know that it's W40.
If you saw us
okay.
in the window saying that the mechanism is broken, Madeline and I was with a blue tape, right? We checked all the mechanisms on the window.
I tried with the W40 and was okay.
Oh, but you sprayed the W40. When we were there, we could hardly turn it. If after you apply W40,
I worried that. I worried Handyman. I know.
Anyway, but
no.
So,
But because of that, and someone just smashing the two windows and broke through the screen just so I wouldn't use those windows, I could have saved $2,000. So that's why I'm asking that. I don't have $16,000 or $17,000 to go replace windows. I just asked that, hey, maybe let's think outside the box. And maybe it's not as bad, oh, windows falling apart. I have no leaks. I've never had any water or wind. You don't hear wind coming through windows.
Your windows didn't fail.
What?
Your windows didn't fail. They were there. They were doing what they were doing.
Correct, exactly.
They
So,
don't fail.
no, the windows they broke, they failed.
Have to be removed.
And that's when we
This is
replace
the
them.
lesson in phase one. Let's go through this
It's called
lesson in
useful
phase
life.
one. There's a unit owner that refused to replace her upper windows, to update her windows from the original, how old is phase one?
1978.
Her 1978 windows, okay? All right, she replaced it. Guess what happened? Her contract, and I say quotes, her contractor did $2,000 worth of damage to the opening. The windows were installed.
The old windows.
The old windows. And she got leaks. Okay? So now the unit owner not only had to pay the repairs to what her contractor did, ended up buying a new window, which would have been much cheaper, because then with the old windows, she doesn't have shutters, she doesn't have shutters per code, right? So this is the experience we're having with that one person that was animate about putting the windows back. It's not a matter if it's leaking out, they look at the edge of the window. Once they remove it, the chances of the frame bending, whatever happens. Once you take an old window out and you try to put that window back after they redo the opening, chances are it's going to fail. And that's what the engineer said in his letter, that he highly recommends that the association not allow these windows to be replaced.
But in the bottom, why they have to remove the window in the back?
Sorry?
Why they have to remove the window? Why?
These furnitures.
Okay.
Outside, right here.
Sean, let the unit owner speak.
So because if you remove the panel, the wood, if you check all the stuff is okay, why you have to remove the window?
the windows must be removed because of the new installation.
No, I'm talking.
The lower windows, yes. You have right now the C111, and the windows are screwed directly to the studs, the frames. In order to install the new facades, the window has
Put
to
the
be
papers
removed.
down so I can see the gentleman's face when he's talking.
The windows have, the C111 have to be removed. That's right.
Hey, calm down. Okay?
You guys
Calm down.
me all the time.
Okay, calm down. Calm down. Respect. Okay? Okay. Okay, I understand you.
The T111 has to be removed.
Yeah.
When the T111 is removed, then they must, that's when they get access to windows to unscrew it and remove it. Then they're going to put in a 5/8 plywood sheet. Then you have to put the 30-pound water barrier, and then you install the windows, and then you put the furring strips and the new hardy board. So one way or the other, because what we have right now is just a T111 screwed directly to the frame. So according to the code, you have to put in something stronger. So you're going to have 5 8-stick plywood sheets, then a 30-pound water barrier, and then the hardy board. So it's going to be a stronger facade. So that's why the windows has to be removed.
Okay, this is one question though. The people that this is ones already, like some over here, they don't have to take out the new windows.
Yes. The persons that installed the new windows without the facades being worked on, these windows has to be removed again.
You say so. I mean,
And once the bank goes in and says, this has to come off, but then the windows have to be reinstalled, right?
Take those
They have to be removed.
But also,
Because the windows and the past windows also will reinstall it.
But are they
That's none of,
to reinstall?
then they have to be reinstalled again.
But remember during the walkthrough, you had one gentleman
It'll be on
who
you.
when we needed to be replaced and it was leaking.
The feds are involved.
The feds have been involved for a long time.
Not to this extent, the banks have to be market.
You have no answers to anybody that is so desperate that not the state attorney's office ignored it.
You know it.
All right, guys. Let's stop acting like children. Yeah, but you cutting in acting like a child doesn't help me.
Well, I'm a state court.
Let's stop. All of you guys are being children.
I'm protecting myself. It's fine. It's fine right here.
So,
The lady has a voice.
Laura, Larry, are you finished with the other questions?
So in order for us to finish with this,
Is nonsense.
Yes, Miss Manning.
I have a question. I have one side of my house is stucco. Is there a difference with the windows when you have stucco?
No, we're not touching no windows in the concrete walls. The only windows we're talking about is those in the wooden
I can
frame.
just leave those windows?
Those
Yes, just like in phase 4.
Yes.
The windows that are in stucco, they were not required to remove them.
So you only had to do your other.
But if you want to change, then you can go right ahead.
So why did you change that?
I changed out my windows were the original windows.
So phase 4 does Rams change out the windows?
Phase 4 concrete.
Exactly.
That's what I was thinking, so why is it expected in phase 4?
Because people want to change their windows.
all right, so this is the question I want to ask. This is the
All right,
question.
everybody, please, we have a question.
This is the question I want to ask. Oh, sorry.
Ma'am, did you finish your question?
Yeah, I just wanted to know, because I didn't know if they had to replace those or not.
Right.
It's not the ones on the side.
Not on the
This is the question I
stucco.
want to ask.
Okay, well, that's cheaper.
If you're saying, right, because some of the guys that some people already changed out the windows already, it's going to be a pain in the ass that they have to take out the new windows just for them to put that.
They're already running.
Right. So the people are right, but the upper windows is different from the bottom windows. So because they didn't put up the new hardy board, so we're gonna have to try. If people are going to replace their windows, we're gonna have to try to set up a schedule for people to do that.
Good.
Because if people
Listen,
go
for
ahead and
example,
okay,
one of the units, when she was installing new windows, I can recall I did advise the contractor, hey, why are you installing windows in a facade that we're going to remove? What they say is when they come to install windows, they're getting paid, they have a contract or whatever it is, and I think whoever the unit owner is, I don't want to call her name, she got funding from some funding source that when the contractor comes, he has to install all the windows in order for him to get paid.
right.
He could not do half and leave the other half undone because he would not be paid. So this is some of the issues that create this type of thing. The outside contractor comes, he has to install all in order that he get paid. He will not agree to leave the others down, that when we do the walls, because he won't get paid.
Larry, it's very simple. Ostro's response, those new windows, Ostro is removing them and putting them back.
Yes.
So what
And
is
cost?
No.
Are they
It's no,
I don't think
it's in the
so.
contract.
I don't think so.
No, hang on, it's in the contract. The ones that are approved by the
engineer.
I know they were installing.
Which are, they did, I think, 5 of the upper windows, they reinstalled 5 of the upper windows.
They will reinstall it once it's a new window, so I don't see any issue.
No, I'm just saying, the issue is some people that already got the new windows.
Yeah.
Like, 'cause some people, yeah, they got the upper windows, I'm not even talking about.
Yeah, somebody
about the
got
upper
the
windows, I'm talking about the
windows.
bottom windows,
So
yeah,
yeah.
or that hardy board.
Yeah,
Because
they will reinstall.
Yeah, because I mean, I'm just seeing around here, I saw a couple of unit owners that went ahead and just changed all over.
That's fine.
That's fine.
When the
Yeah,
time
they
comes,
will.
we're going
You got to take it right back, they had to cut it back down.
I
right
so
back
when,
there.
when it's time to do the structure, also remove and replace. And then that way was going on to a new opening, stronger, and with the proper up to code stuff, so.
But that's why when we were walking around and we were noticing all these deficiencies, we said, instead of waiting till the last minute, we need to start preparing people from now.
Right.
Doing it the right way this time around.
Yes.
Well, if it hasn't been done the right way from the beginning, then there's a problem.
Move it, Sean.
No, we're not.
Because you twist stuff. Go back.
Burn strips
Because-
from the beginning.
Listen, Sean, just like we saying, with you not allowing anybody to come in your backyard, right?
Not till this gets investigated.
Okay, so then it's noted by the engineers that we are not allowed, I don't care none about that.
Actually, you can look at it right here. You
I-
should have got that too.
But what I'm saying, Sean, is that as on the report, it would say no entry.
Of course.
Period. Out of all the inspections that we've done, we have no entry. Everything has been boarded up. We can't get in your backyard. We're not going into your backyard because you never gave permission.
Correct.
So it
Too
is.
many of my rights have been violated so far.
Okay, so for now, we're just gonna put you on the side for now. So.
Okay, continue,
So
please.
therefore, the status of supply of lower windows, a decision needs to be made on that.
Well, how is this board going to know if we don't have,
Okay,
well, how many sizes, how many windows?
Wait, what? I don't see that.
Because at the end of the day, those unit owners, you can't change the window without the unit owner's permission, because they may want to go through somebody else. So, when you tell us, Patty, we'd like to have, in order to get the facade moving along, we need to, maybe you have a building that has, 2 out of the 4 units have new windows. We need to know, first of all, the schedule of that. Also, I want to bring your attention, I brought it to all your attention, is we have a building tenting schedule. So you have to, which starts August 6th. And beach is booked every Wednesday, every week through September, okay? So Ostro, you need to orchestrate with Ostro on that coordination of which buildings you're gonna do with the tenting schedule, because they're going before you, okay?
Because if you notice, the last item is the schedule from Austria, so it's a good thing you mentioned that. So we can.
What do you say it's a good thing I mentioned? That you're
He
coming
knows
up
about the
with emails.
tenting. Okay.
You need to read your
Did he
emails.
provide the schedule yet? It's on here.
He knows the schedule, he knows the schedule.
You know the schedule, it starts August 6th,
Not
and it
the-
runs through
not the schedule for the-
September, the end of September, phase 4 finishes.
We have a meeting Tuesday at 10 to 11.
That beach schedule is not changing.
I don't know.
This beach has said, I'm gonna give you every Wednesday from August 6th to the end of September, whatever that is. That's not moving, so Austro's schedule needs to follow behind them. Because they're gonna attempt all this T111, kill everything that's there, so that when you're putting back new wood frames, you have a termite-free building, okay?
Alright, so that covers these two items. So now status of applications of permits for the buildings. All the 15 building permits have been filed. We are right now with under structural review
Praise
at
the
the
Lord.
city. So we should be, within the next week or 2, we should be getting back at least approved permits, because thus far they have not asked
As of today.
anything as of today.
As of today.
So we should be in all clear on that.
As of today, we
Alright.
haven't come back with anything.
We'll see.
So, and these permits will include everything for windows also.
Yeah.
All right, because we want them to be one general permit, so therefore.
That's assuming Austro's doing the windows. They're just doing a blanket for the building?
Yes.
Okay.
Which includes windows.
But if you have a unit owner that's not using Ostro, but they did it for the city permit, correct?
Well, if they're not using Austro, then they will have to file for.
So I understand, but there's not gonna be a permit issue because they're doing the windows by building, right? They're assuming.
By building.
For
So
the
there's
ones
not gonna
that-
be an issue if they don't do a particular window?
I don't think so.
Okay.
So, question though,
We need to check with them.
if, say for instance, for example.
What side?
Say for instance, I went and I got windows. I kept them in my house, so when they're ready.
What we did, we told him,
Take out
cover each building.
Put up my
That covers all.
they're not gonna charge me for that.
Whether if they do it, they need to install the windows and that's fine. But if they decide to do it, they will cover Austro for the next time.
Can we hear Kareem?
Can you repeat?
Oh, yeah,
No,
okay,
no,
what I'm
no.
saying, okay, just because of what you just said with the permit, right, the windows are included into that.
For Austro.
For
Cover
our.
Austro for
Right.
installing windows.
So,
Windows through Austro.
right, so, this is just a scenario. What if, because I need 4 windows, what if I bought the windows myself, kept them in my house until they're ready to put up that hardy board, they take out my old window, and I say to them, okay, put in my new window.
Well, they will, that's what I'm saying, they will be permitted to reinstall windows in every building.
But they're gonna charge later.
They're charging.
No, that's what I'm saying,
They're
that's
not
not-
installing the existing
Not
windows,
existing
they may
windows.
charge
No,
them
what I'm
later.
saying is their permit will allow them to reinstall windows for any unit.
Exactly.
Well, yes.
But if you're not going with them, then you will have whichever contractor you're going with, will have to file for them.
Well, no, I'm saying, because anybody can go and just buy windows.
Yes, but if
you
you
don't
have
get
the
a
windows,
GC
it
license
will
to
be-
buy impact
Yeah.
windows.
It will be up to Austro to tell you they want to
Yeah,
charge
also
us.
they say, look, you might as well.
That's,
pay them, I'll show
it's
you.
in the,
They're gonna charge.
it's up to them.
That's what I'm talking about, it's like, look.
He's gonna charge.
Right, because
We offered
paid for
to,
the permit already.
We offered to pay them to install our windows from Home Depot, they said no.
I know, it's like,
Windows are the responsibility.
he's gonna try to put you on, because he's getting
They
more money
want the-
buying
they want the
windows for
business.
good. They screw you.
The other-
That's all the window business. It's all
Okay, guys, so
the
there's
window.
conversations happening, what's?
Now, what she's saying about Austro not wanting to install the windows, when Austro installs a window for you, they have to give warranty on that.
Well, they're giving a manufacturer warranty.
No, and
That's what
they-
it said.
they-
That's his own.
No, they will give a warranty on the
Oh,
installation.
I made it
Because
right.
they purchase their own windows and they will install them.
Yes.
That's a different story.
Let's do that for the meeting.
Okay, now, we,
Did you hear what?
No, I did not.
So, Kareem was saying that if he devices or window put them in his house, when it be installed. Now, this young couple over here said that they purchased their windows, okay? And Astro said, no, he's not going to warrant their window. So at the meeting on he will install the windows. So at the meeting on Tuesday, we'll
we'll
ask,
discuss with you.
if a
Your internal meeting.
Yes, we need to do that. So we'll ask if a resident went and purchased the correct windows, would you install the window? We're not asking for you to warranty the window, that's on whoever they purchased them from. But would you provide a warranty on the installation?
I don't think they will because the installer is responsible for any, let's say, his installer charges and they start getting a leak. Astro's not, and then the association's not gonna.
They gave her,
It came from Austro.
yeah, for the install.
Yes, a warranty on install, but I bought them through them, I just,
Yeah.
I made them put it in writing.
Yeah, they'll, okay, so here are all the scenarios with windows. You have an existing impact window that they need to remove to do. Ostro in the contract will remove the impact windows that are newer back. They've done 5 already. Now, scenario number 2, you buy your own windows and you need an installer. Ostro's not going, because then they have to, as the installer, they have to guarantee that install, and they're not going to because you didn't buy the window. No company, think about this, is going to warranty a window that they didn't buy from the supplier. So they're not going to install something that you didn't purchase from them. And if they do, I would imagine they'll charge you an install fee. Then the third scenario is you purchase your windows or doors through Austro, that price includes install, right? And the warranty. If you go through a third party, the third party is responsible for the install, but that leads us to our next issue with third-party installs. So you listen what's going on with third-party installs. Go ahead.
Well, one more thing to that though that we're just saying is that also, if you bought them through a third party and had them installed, you may void your warranty.
So that company, which is what we had discussed.
They had
and
said
they
that
had to
we're
get-
gonna guarantee a certain amount of inches
They have to.
into the wall.
So
Exactly.
if she purchases her window already and installed, then, and there's a warranty, that's why we have to let the residents know in advance. You have to have your company come out, remove the window, have the association, Astra do their part, and then that company put them back
That's a
in.
good point, so the original.
Because it will void that warranty.
Some of these unit owners have bought with new windows already. Who is, they don't know who the previous unit owner.
Well, they better know, because they'll have to sign something.
And my disclaimer there is the banks may have to, if they say this furniture strips weren't authorized in
Oh
straight
my God,
construction.
you're doing it very.
Hey, hold your comment, I have the floor.
No.
See,
We're
she
talking
doesn't
about
get the floor.
furnace
I'll
strips,
explain
which
right
is
there.
not
That's
on
why I
the
have to raise
agenda.
my
We're
voice.
talking about windows.
This is a disclaimer that is truthful for the homeowners.
Just let them talk for a second.
Exactly. So if Banco, which they have an alert, and they have all these case files, they, you know, if they determine this furnace strips, it causes the walls to get thicker, the thing we've been lied to about so many times in this room, why we have to replace our windows? Why? I've asked that question 10 times. You sat there and listened to me last year. I got you on video listening to me. Don't act surprised there. I'm just giving you information.
I listen to you a lot.
All right,
Talking.
we're not gonna call out people though.
But
Let's just tell what
okay,
they say.
let me
Don't
finish
call
what I'm
out.
saying. Okay.
Go ahead.
So, if Banco determines that those furniture strips were not authorized in the contract she signed, then they could have that work, they could actually freeze funding, number one, and then require that furniture to be reinstalled and then the siding replaced, including the windows. So, that is a hazard that you have to keep in the back of your head whether you want to or not.
When did you get your engineering degree?
I got my bank degree, my law degree, all that stuff.
Okay,
My years of practice.
let's move on to the next topic.
My law degree, MBA.
Let's move on. All right, that's it. You said what you wanted to say.
All right,
Go
can I
ahead.
say something? I'd like
Go
to
ahead,
say something because, okay. There's a saying that says, don't confuse education with intelligence. You can still have an MBA or an education and still be an idiot. And that they may.
All right, and like I said, like I said, we're not gonna name call and point out
We're
people.
not naming.
Listen, we're not gonna call out
And just so you're aware.
So let's go ahead and do what we need to do here in official business, okay?
For all they can play here.
No more
Yeah.
listen, I'm start taking people out. If you name call and stuff. Hey, I'm speaking. Hold on. We're not gonna name call, we're not gonna do this. We're gonna talk official business, what you're here supposed to do.
Yes,
Okay? Okay, not hypotheticals, not this, not that. Okay? Speak what you're gonna speak of.
Thank you, officer. So going back to installation of windows, go ahead, sir.
All right, I think as well, basically we are square on the topic. When we produce this document, then we will move forward with so how many windows if the board is going to supply, we will give you the dimensions and quantity that we would recommend to have on site, on hand, so the project can go.
But just to be clear, if the association supplies to allow the project to continue, we have to make those arrangements with the unit owners.
To reform the association.
Well, they'll be assessed for them if they don't pay them up front. But what I'm saying is they have to agree for us to, because they have the right to get their own third party.
yes.
So this all takes planning.
Yes.
Okay? It's
So
not
we-
like, oh, order 10 windows, 19 by 19. and then like-
Diana and I work on this thing, yeah.
I had a knock on my door the other day from someone, from a woman who was representing herself as from Austro. who was-
Henrietta.
Yes,
Okay.
who was asking if I wanted to have my windows replaced. She was going around and checking with everybody. to see about that. So they are already in the process of figuring out who wants their windows replaced and who doesn't. So that's already being processed.
Thank you. All right, discussion of installation of windows by unit owners without supervision, thus causing damage to the flashings and water barrier. Give us an update.
All right, what happened is, about last week or week before, we had one of the unit owners bring in their own contractor and install upper windows. I'm not calling out the unit, I'm just saying, they did the similar thing that was done in the first unit. They cut the flashing, damaged it. They cut out the 30-pump water barrier, and they made a whole mess out of it. When Levi informed me of that, I came here, I went up, I looked at it, I consulted with Diana. Diana consulted the unit owner.
Who was told by Astro, okay? That's the thing that I'm talking about, that they shoot themselves in the leg. You're contacting, you're rushing and contacting Larry, driving me crazy, only to find out that you are the one that contacted the unit owner. The man who doesn't live here is freaking out. He wanted to take care of everything right away so he's not fined. Send his guy over there. So then when Larry contacted me, I contacted the gentleman right away and he said, hey, Diana, how are you doing? I'm like, how are you doing? I said, look at the mess that was created. He had no clue. He said, but Diana, I was told by Astro. So I said, listen, enough of this going through Astro foolishness. You'll meet with he said, whatever has to be done, let me know so I can have it taken care of correctly, permitted, so on and so forth. So that's the reason why when I met with him today, this morning, and I told him, like, who just said that he's going around, oh, Blake, said that Henrietta, they have a new person working with them now, that Henrietta, she said to me, oh, I need the list of the residents and their phone numbers. And I'm like, for what? So come to find out, instead of you coordinating for drywall repair, you running around asking people to install windows. No. And I said to her today, I said, no, we're not going to do that. I said, I'm very sorry. I'm taking this thing back from you guys because there's too many complaints. So we will do it the right way. I am going on the inspection. She said, well, there's one on tomorrow at 4 o'clock. You don't have to attend. I'm like, ma'am, I'm attending. Every single inspection for every single unit in here. And if there's no damage, they have to sign for it. Period. And that's the end result from today. Because it's a mess. It's an absolute mess.
So did you finally complete your inspection today with regard to less one?
Less one unit.
Okay.
Yes, everything is
So we can get that report in 2 weeks?
Hopefully, we will have a transit.
We'll have
So
it in the
basically, on this line item,
You said budget for
yes, ma'am.
2 weeks.
So on this line item, I'm not too sure how we're going to move forward with that when residents, unit owners choose their foreign contractors to come in. But this type of damage,
Okay, so
I
we.
thought
You
Astro
said
was supposed to be
notice.
overseeing the install.
Astro is a constructor.
No, but they told us that when they have a third party that comes in to install, that they needed to be present.
No, the
No,
engineer.
engineer. Yes.
But I think this install was done on a Saturday or a Sunday.
And
They're not notified.
No
He didn't know.
No one knew.
The letter is very clear that's on the website about third-party installers, that
Yes,
document
we
we
prepared.
did. What's happened in that case, they didn't notify SD to have
We
somebody come.
didn't know.
So here we go, case number 2, example number 2, where a unit owner now will be fined, assessed, the damage their contractor did, that has to be taken out, Ostro needs to fix it, it's about a $2,000 damage, the same flashing. So that's what I'm saying, we have to make sure we have a third-party installer to contact Larry, so Larry can have Madge or himself present at the install to make sure that your contractor is not damaging the unit.
That's why we have to send out the letter.
Huh?
That's why we have to have the letter posted. We can't just put it on the website. But the gentleman is really not at fault. Because he was notified by our contractor to tell him, do this. And that's what he did.
And that should be on them.
But he said, But Patty, the guy was very distraught. He said, I will do whatever I have to do.
Okay. The bottom line is, if you do anything, it has to be on an ACC form. It has to be approved by the association. You cannot just take it upon yourself to put up a screen, to put up a window, you have to fill out the forms. We have to have the information that the installer is licensed and insured and has all of the right bells and whistles, and that we know that it's going to be done properly. All of this is to
ensure,
protect everybody that lives here, because we are in connected units. Okay? Somebody puts something up in their unit next door to me, and it damages my unit because they didn't do the proper thing. Hey, okay, you've got to do it properly. You've got to get the paperwork submitted. It's on the website. You post the stuff. You put the things on there. Diana and I get it. We look it over. We approve it. As a matter of fact, we've got one right there in front of Diana that she can give to Ken tonight. Ken, raise your hand, please. Thank you.
Oh, is that one?
That's
Well, I was scared.
okay.
Now, one other issue.
She gets an email.
On that same day, the unit right next door, in the attic room, they cut a hole in the facade to put a vent for an internal AC unit. Cutting the water barrier, cutting a hole in the pipe.
Okay. So
This
what
is the
we
next
need
unit.
for you to do,
So-
we need an email from you.
I informed Diana, she's dealing with that.
Have you forwarded that to Rhonda?
So it's like, I told you about the unit right next door with the hole in the attic.
The 2 units that have caused
They
damage?
cut a hole in the facade to put an internal AC vent, which cut off the water barrier. Right now, if it rains, it's going to wet the new plywood.
Okay.
All right, so we have 2 units that.
What building is that, Larry?
Building 5, I think it's 1720. 1720.
In phase 1?
Phase 1, yes. Phase 1, the 2 units in question are 1720 and I think 1724.
So in that particular letter, Ostro needs to tell us what the cost is to repair the damage from their contractors, so the unit owners can be.
Well, I'm not sure if it's the contractor that caught the whole.
Well,
the
whoever they did.
The unit
We
owner.
have to notify them, they'll get a letter from Rhonda,
This
but
can
we
cause damage
need
to
the
the
cost.
facade.
Because they need to pay the association, because Ostro will not repair it for free.
Okay.
I've got a question. What, okay, I'm just curious on policy, why cannot a management company send a notification to the owner instead of spending attorney's fees every time a unit owner needs to be notified? Because those fees are really adding up.
All right, is there standard language that needs to go into those letters, and she's not an attorney?
She can't just.
No, I said, if you're talking about the
Any
GFI.
notice-
Well,
any-
we originally sent a notice, a letter, an original letter.
No, just talking
Then
about,
talking about-
I'm talking about this issue.
Then the 2 units that caused damage to Ostro's work that they already completed.
Oh.
Yeah, well, we've got a great management company, it doesn't have to be, well, by an attorney, because that's, cha-ching, every time she sends these letters.
Right, from an association's perspective, we want it officially on record, and we want the legal verbiage in that letter.
And we can't do legal verbiage.
We're not lawyers.
I know we're not, but man, I've sent out a gazillion certified letters to people, and it's considered legal notice.
We're not attorneys.
Oh, I know that.
So we're not going to, those type of letters need to formally come from the association attorney.
They really don't. I mean, I don't mean to argue, but I know if it's a management company, I have sent them out certified letters, they're legally binding, and I didn't have to spend attorney's letters, fees for it. So you don't have to. I think that's a choice that you're making, and it's costing the homeowners a whole lot of money for these attorneys' fees, there'll be a certified letter that goes out.
Yeah, unfortunately, this association is paying a lot of legal fees to do nonsense.
That's what I'm trying to avoid.
Right. So, yeah, okay, you can give it a try. I guess you can send an initial letter saying your contract, but there's gonna be a pushing back, and then they're gonna waste their time. That maybe, we're rainy season, it's gotta be fixed, so that back and forth with the union owners gonna say, I didn't create that hole, I didn't create that
Well,
damage.
but maybe not, you never know.
I
You
know.
know, and then that way they have time to cure, because that's a violation. They get a notice from management, you have 10 days to cure, or we will do it for X amount of dollars.
When you have to be, or Oscar has to be present, well, Oscar is the one that needs to repair it, but Oscar is gonna wanna get paid ahead of time, that's the problem.
I don't
We're not going to-
So who's going to pay?
Us,
Well, the homeowner.
Homeowner, just like the homeowner paid the
Astra
last.
has been quoted, then they give an estimate.
Oscar, have Oscar quote the repair damage in writing in a formal, email to the board. And then, I guess management, but based on the responses that we've gotten from a lot of unit owners, when notices are sent from, they're ignored for management company. And when this involves you owe money because you're a contractor, it's gonna be a waste of time. I'm just trying to, we're getting really deep in rainy season. We need to get this stuff repaired. That's what I'm worried about. We're in hurricane season.
Okay, moving along, we skip the line item, possible unpermitted additions, and how we're going to deal with them.
So have you sent us an email of all, now that you've done the full walkthrough, do you have a report of all suspected unpermitted?
Yeah, we took pictures of it. The thing
Did you
is,
share it with the board?
not yet.
Okay.
Now, the thing is, some of these units, because they're legal extension, they have some small AC units.
Yeah.
So that's another scenario to deal with when we do the infrastructure.
I don't like to call them illegal, I like to call them potential unpermitted.
That's why I said possible unpermitted additions. That's what I said.
No, I changed that, you had illegal in there.
Oh, sorry.
Let's just say possible unpermitted additions, because we had the same scenario in phase 4, the gentleman was going crazy, he finally got old records prior to plantation and found the permit. So let's just call them potential unpermitted additions. So can we have that list?
It will be presented
Okay.
together with all finance.
And
So
then
this split
letters
is,
have to go out.
this split is
We
units.
already have a standard letter that goes out.
Okay, no problem.
But we need to know, the board needs to know what are the units.
Okay, no problem. All right, so until see that soon permits will be approved and the schedule of buildings we're going to be working on is going to be prepared. Unit owners, we need to give them notice that those with the attached screens and whatever to the units have to have it attached.
Okay,
Always
so there's a
put on.
standard letter that we've always sent before, like we said, with the roof, notifying them they had to remove blah, blah, blah. There is a standard letter that lists everything, removal of security cameras, blah, 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 blah. We can't set it too much ahead until we know the expected start date. So that's gonna take, again, coordination with the tenting schedule, with Ostro's schedule, so the unit owners are given 2 weeks' notice to remove everything they need to remove. That's the process that's been in place. We got an 8-hour notice. I know.
Can we do that?
Sorry?
Yeah, they know 3 weeks in advance and do a
If we
countdown?
can,
Yeah.
I mean, we're
Because
given
that's
a month
what
and a
makes
half
this-
notice for tenting, and
Yeah.
we need to really know.
Yeah, because even with the emailing, in the mail, and posting, and me calling them at night, still, the day of, none of the stuff was removed. So, and then this time around, we should let them know if it's not removed, and the association have to remove it, it will be moved.
Well, we're moving and discarding.
Yeah.
You know what? There's no reason for us to try to keep
It's
it.
personal property, you can't.
Well, then
do
you
that.
need to get it out.
It has to be.
That's all.
Because it slows down the process.
Okay.
It slows
Why
down.
should the construction people be responsible
watching movies has removed cameras and stuff, and we've had incidences where unit owner says, oh, Ostro damaged my camera, or you were supposed to remove it. So Ostro is not gonna remove it, so I don't know if the thing is move to the next, do the next unit and leave that.
No, they won't do it. And see, the thing is, this is what they use. If they remove something, and I say, listen, can you just remove it for me? Then they come back, oh, we did this for free, we did that for free.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Right, and they have a right to say that. It's not up to them to spend their time removing the homeowner's property.
it slows down the work. It will not work.
They have been notified to do it.
Yeah.
These people are here to remove the T111, get rid of the rot, and seal it back up with hardy. Not anything else.
So the last item in the schedule, we discussed that already, so I guess we go into the open forum.
You mentioned the permit is already submitted.
All 50.
What's the expected time for the permits to be approved by the city?
They are right now in structural review, so I'm not too sure how long the city will take. All right, so maybe a week, 2 weeks.
It's been dragging the feet.
So I.
Next week there's a holiday, so the day.
And it goes on first.
So say the same 2 to 3 weeks.
Here's my concern, Larry. My concern is that the permits will be approved, they're usually good for a set period of time.
Yes.
Then we're gonna get from Ostro, oh, we gotta set the work, when the permits are gonna expire, you have to pay for new permits. We heard this in phase 4, okay? This next step is gonna take, somebody needs to orchestrate this to the T, because you have a lot of moving parts in this one. You have, once we vote on an electrician, and a plumber, all that stuff is orchestrated. And if you leave it in Ostro's hands, it's gonna be, they're not good at planning. They're good at doing what they need to do, but not orchestrate, okay? So you need, you have the tenting schedule. Once we have the bids and choose an electric, then we have to see when the electrician can start, when the plumber can start, all that is, this phase of work is very different than phase 4 and now phase 3.
And how many of them, and they also were saying how many men they're able to put on a job for how many days and.
Exactly.
It's going to be a little
Yeah,
challenging.
it's going to be very tricky.
Because you have to move AC units.
Yeah.
There's a lot more that you didn't have to deal with phase 4 and half of phase 3.
And does he even have electricians?
So I was gonna say, we're gonna have to, well, we're gonna
We have to hire an electrician.
License and insurance.
It'll probably, if Cavalieri who did our, it makes sense to go with Cavalieri if they give us a good bid. Because they're the ones that did our electrical panel. Why are we gonna get another electrician?
Get more than one bid.
No, we're gonna get 3 bids, absolutely.
Right, we need 3.
I'm gonna say the Cavalier
Plumbers
is
to electricians.
reasonable cost.
No Cavalier, no, we need 3.
I think Cavalieri, we'll probably have better luck with Cavalieri negotiating pricing because they're already in a substantial amount of the community. They're the ones we call when we have light post issues. A lot of unit owners call them to help, do their own work. So they have their established vendor with us for years, well, not for years, but for years.
As long as they send out the proper plans. As long as they send out the proper workman, because I have, excuse me, I'm speaking. As long as they send out the proper workman to do the work. Because I'm not pleased with
I'm
that.
sorry, you were reading interpreted, what did you say?
I'm saying as long as we get 3 bids and get something else, because I'm not pleased with Cavalier's work. The workman they sent out to do
Did you
the
get
snapshot
hours?
job
Did you
on
get
my
hours?
place and cheap,
What was the problem? What was the problem? What was the problem?
Oh, okay. The problem was that when, first of all, the GFIs, okay, he installed the GFIs on the front. On the rear, he said, oh, it's a GFI, and I had my little 2 ground plates, which were incorrect. What he did, he left a regular socket in, and then just put their GFI cover. Okay, and I did email you.
I forwarded to Joe Borelli.
Yeah, and I had to pay $190 because when I called my electrician, He said, this is not a GFI. I said, well, they billed me for a GFI.
Yeah.
The biggest, Cavalieri told me, you know, my light on the side was wrong. My electrician who's authorized by Plantation and assurance that there's nothing wrong with your light, is functioning and it's wired properly. But then Cavalieri's workman took my cover, put theirs in, and did not put in a GFI. So I just spent $190 yesterday. $190. Yeah, so that's.
So if you charged by Cavalieri for the first trip, so that email was sent to Joe Borelli, so he got back to me, because we're going to find out why, if originally his electrical guy came and supposedly changed it to GFI, why would another electrician say it's not a GFI?
It wasn't.
And then, so if you paid $190 to have it done, then I think our expectation, at least what I'm going to tell Joe Borelli is, you need to look into this particular unit. There's another unit owner that changed both GFIs with Cavalieri. And during this recent inspection, the electrical guy, for some reason, changed it out again, so that's going to be taken care of.
But another issue I have with that workman, he said, oh, your light is wrong. All you have to do is take it down, and after the inspection, you put it back up.
That's
illegal.
Find out from Cavalieri,
Yeah.
because it may be an issue with the workman. Because
You have
Cavalieri
to
is a
remember
very
now,
different
their
organization.
workers aren't all certified electricians on their own. They work under the master license.
So in other words, they're subcontractors?
So, no, they're not subcontractors. They work for the company, but they're not master electricians.
Well, this
Like
one
the
was
German
real
electricians.
zero.
Or they're on the job working.
Yeah.
They work under the licensure of the company. Same thing at Asheville. All the guys that work on those roofs, they aren't roof guys. They're just guys that come out and work.
Some of them
They
are
have the
but I
license.
mean, you know,
And they're supposed to be instructed to work with them.
Yeah, I got the whole installation on video.
You and Susan are two that I've already emailed Joe Borelli. He'll get down to about, Joe's good about it. And it could be that particular person they sent
Could
out.
be.
Because it could, I was curious, is it this Elvis? Elvis is great.
It could be, but it
And-
reflects the
but
name
I'm
of Cavalieri.
curious to which electrical guy worked in your unit, because they may not know they're having an issue with an employee. So we'll find out.
And Mark, just so you know, like, even my fiance has been doing electrical work for 20 years. He didn't even know about the net code change. And like 5 of his guys that do electrical for solar did not know about the net code change on the needing to be a WR and a home.
Yeah.
That's new.
Okay, thank you, Maud, for that. I think we're at open forum. Larry, do you have anything else?
No, that's it.
So you're gonna get us information so that we can just further discuss. We'll put it on the board of directors meeting regarding the windows, but we need your information. All right, open forum. In open forums, construction items, okay?
Specifically, yes. I'm talking about the fencing.
Yeah.
Now, the fencing all looks great. However, some of the guys left heavy concrete in my area, near my area, and also near where Debbie lives. We're talking about heavy, heavy pieces that we can pick up. So that has to be removed at some point.
You're 17.
I'm at 1700 and Debbie's already. Yeah. It's a section in between.
And what's the location of these large pieces?
It's in
Right next to my fence.
Front or back fence?
It's a side.
Side fence?
Side fence.
Two big heavy pieces.
But the old post used to be in this room.
Yes, exactly.
The old post.
So Diana, we have to get Austria to pick up those old concrete posts.
And fill the holes too. They left,
Yeah.
like,
And then
there's
they
just
go-
hole,
Yeah,
like, there's
exactly.
holes.
What concrete post?
That's a problem as well.
Yep, so can you please, I know of 1700, 1721, phase 1, who else has, remember?
Debbie's 17, phase
Oh, you're
2.
phase 2, sorry.
Because we have, her back is to mine.
Yeah.
That's the one we live in.
All right. I will send an email to Dorn tonight, and I'll copy the management company, the board, that they need to go, is there a post connector, or just the bottom, that they, when they pull out
The section that's by my fence is just kind of sitting, laying there. That's all.
Is it just concrete?
It's a big piece of concrete.
But it's not attached to the old post?
No, that part is not. But near where Debbie is, it's the old, the base, I guess, of the original pump.
And I had the same situation, they leave like concrete stuff close to my subdivision.
Yeah, you do a very good
And
job.
not only that, they leave like a lot of empty bottles, like potato chips, stuff. I mean, all the garbage.
Has been addressed numerous times, they improve, and then they get new people, and they do the same thing. So you have concrete next to your AC and trash, and what's your unit?
Well, not trash because I pick it up.
Okay.
1736.
1736. Phase?
What phase you in?
I don't know, it's building 11, so I guess phase.
Oh, phase two.
Phase two, I'm sorry, phase two, yeah.
1736 phase
Yeah, what's concrete next to what?
Close to the air conditioning, like to the left something there, I never like went to the side, you know.
It's two, right?
No, I'll include you in that same email, and I'll copy you, both Larry and. I can't wait for this one.
I can't wait.
I'll tell you 4.6 million that they've invested here.
We can have a big party.
Yeah, oh, there we are. And I'll just gonna take this.
I have a question. I hear you talking about electrician and plumbing. I probably missed that meeting. What is going on with that? Is that for certain units, or is it for the whole,
So,
for everyone?
the units that have T111 on your facade. Okay, so there's nothing behind the T111 other than the studs. So the new, to install hardy board, there are certain layers they have to do. So that's going to create the opposite issue Phase 4 had. Phase 4, things were attached to wood frames and stuff, and our lights were out. So when they removed the wood, decorated wood, our lights weren't flush with the stucco. They were
Posted on,
they were decorated wood that are light code, not our lights. So when they removed the decorated wood, all our junction boxes were out, we were flush, right?
Okay.
You all have the opposite. Your stuff, when they install the hardy board the way it is by code, your stuff is coming out. So your plumb, your spigot, lines may be too far in, so they have to come out.
and yeah, the outlets, the light fixtures, all of that's gonna have to come out. That's the reason we're
Because
talking
the
about
laws
electrical
moved.
and plumbing having to come in and do some work.
Because the laws moved an inch and a half, is that what you're saying?
That is what.
That is what they're moving out, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, is that?
Even if we don't put the furring strip is just about a quarter-inch thick. Even
Even with
if
the
we
5/8,
don't put
it's still-
even if we put the facade, just plywood
put it
strip,
with
the
plywood.
bottom, and you put the hardwood directly on that, you will still have to move it out. Because the furring strip in question is just a quarter-inch thick. Quarter-inch to half inch.
Right here.
Quarter-inch to half inch, about that thick.
It's
So one way or the other,
Right here, that's an inch.
one way or the other, it will be.
Yeah, no, definitely, it's
It
because you
will
have
be,
the
it
plywood.
has to come out.
You have the plywood and you have the water barrier.
From afar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. that's
I wish the
fine.
camera was pointing at her right
Ma'am, did you finish your question?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
let me go, Vanessa?
The laundry room, what's the next step? Like for instance, when they were doing the roof,
They have to complete your laundry room.
okay,
Yeah,
because
that's part of the structure.
so the ceiling came down completely, the light is hanging.
It's a lot of people. Yeah, mine too.
Me too.
Yeah, like they keep saying that there's certain things that they're not responsible for, like the hole in the wall.
Who is saying they're not doing?
Doran is the one that we're dealing with.
They don't care to buy laundry room if they need to repair.
Okay, I mean, I sent it as part of the pictures and everything, and they haven't even talked about
Okay,
that.
so, okay,
So
when,
I'm gonna read myself with a broken record to these contractors. Those laundry rooms in phase 1, 2, and 3 are part of the original building. They are responsible to work on that. They know that. Okay, so maybe in talking with Doran,
I mean,
the
it's
laundry
everything through
rooms are
email.
gonna be done. The laundry rooms are part of the original facade.
They're part of the.
Not everybody has laundry rooms.
But they say no all the time. For
And
everything.
that's what Rhonda, when Rhonda answered that, said, what? Say that again?
I said the laundry rooms are part of the contract.
Okay. So when I'm talking, for instance, they had left all the fascia is the one that's under the.
Yes.
Okay, so if this is like where the roof comes, this, so animals go in.
And you can
And
hear
you
the
can
animal.
hear, you can hear.
We can hear the animal now.
Are you
The
talking?
soffit, thank you.
Okay, are you?
So the top where you put up.
Now they covered it,
Yes.
after 2 weeks, they went in.
Well, yeah, because we did a walkthrough of the backyards, and I took pictures of the ones I sent to you guys, and some I didn't use them.
And the openings.
And Doran was on the group text with myself, because I went along, and I took pictures, and on the group text with Larry and Legit. And all of those were taken care of, even though he did not send me
No,
pictures.
Yeah,
but
the
after
problem is when they
2-3
finish,
weeks.
when they finish the roof, they cover in the back shelf, but they never cover in the front. So I have all the animal inside.
We hear it every night. I don't know what's in there.
Yes.
Well, but yours was more.
Yeah, so it covers the front.
We have,
Yeah, so-
there was one in the back.
Three weeks later, when I say that I hear an animal over there, they come in and feed, but now I have the animal inside. 3 weeks later, when they finish the roof, I tell them, hey, I hear animals, so now they cover everything, I have the animal inside.
You
But
still
first we were
hear it?
told by the attorney that we're crazy and this is Florida and.
That's what the attorney told us.
Yeah.
Let me just say one thing, and I needed to bring this up in a meeting, is that I went through the course, right, that Rhonda offers, that the attorney's office offers us to become, certified to be on the board, whatever, right? It's like a 3-hour course, whatever.
4 hours.
4 hours. I sat through that, and they had these great moments where they would put skit videos in. And a little funny, but at the same time, I also was like, because I'm just becoming part of the board as a homeowner, and I'm like, that's a little condescending. You kind of acting like homeowners are assholes in these videos. And wait, no, I'm talking about the product that she put out was demeaning to homeowners. Those kids.
Can we stick to the
I'm just saying, those Rhonda, I mean, I know her up, I thought she got arrested.
Now, in the middle of the night, my little kids come to wake up.
Yeah.
It just, every time that they have,
Did you finish? Any openings?
So, they cover everything now.
Openings, do you still hear animals?
Yeah, all the time.
The walking show
Bob from BMS,
Yeah.
Critter Control
In
Bob.
the middle of the night, my little kids wake up me from my so they hear scratching the roof.
So BMS is here for their normal service, and they leave and go to the.
It's 1749.
So what we're gonna do is the same thing when I had critters in my attic. Bob will come and put a trap. You may have a possum, you may have, who knows? He'll trap first. You have an attic tour?
No, we don't have addicts in our town, so you tell.
No, the problem was when they finish, I tell them, please close everything. They don't close the front.
That's what they
But Bob came in, we had a possum living there. Not now, because now it's completely sealed. It's been like maybe a week where they sealed everything with a black tarp or whatever material that is. So, but when Bob had come before, like 2 years ago, we had a possum living there. Leo had to put a camera there, and every night we would be watching, and we had to shoot, and boom, it left. Bob would want
In
to
the middle of
charge
the night,
us.
1 o'clock in the morning, I close over there with the.
Bob
with the
wanted to
mirror.
charge us for it. He said it wasn't part of the deal.
It is part of the deal.
Okay.
He doesn't charge the unit owner, the association pays for critters.
Oh, he wanted us to.
Did he charge you?
No, because Leo said, no, we'll do it. So we put a little camera, and Leo woke up like 1 in the morning, and
The association pays for critter control, so.
Okay. So now we,
Still have, with
there's something between our wall that you hear. Like something like,
They're trying to get out. You gotta remove the paper, let them out.
Oh, no, that's the only thing I have.
can we send Bob to the students? So,
I'm their neighbor.
She's 1749.
And I'm 1753.
phase two.
Why you looking at me like that?
I didn't even know you were.
There we go.
Yes, you did. You came over.
Okay, we're gonna send Bob away, maybe he'll,
Maybe we'll figure out. how to get it.
and sometimes he'll know by the noise, cause like he's good at.
Oh, yeah, I used to have something for the life of me that was crawling up and down the wall inside and then making its way up. So I'm like, there's something there.
We had the bees, like,
Whatever
4 or 5
it
years
was.
ago, we had the bees in there.
After Bob came and never heard it, and we got six smell raisins, and we were like, we had maybe a lizard, something that's scratchy, it's very crazy.
So Larry.
Okay, so any other things construction related? Yes, go ahead, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I know that we had this Cavalier Electric came out and gave individual owners a specific price. What I was wondering is when we do the bidding now for the plumbing and the AC and all that, can we get prices and then negotiate it down because we're doing bulk?
That's what we're doing. That's what we always do. That's what we did with the contract, that's what we did when the family originally did the.
I'm just going on the Cavalier price, didn't sound like it, I mean, it was like $140 or $50.
For 3 outlets?
Yeah.
That's for.
Oh, was it for 3?
Yeah.
But I thought that was for also if there's 1.
Oh, no, that should be like 95 for 1 or something.
Yeah, Cavalier gave us a great price on our electrical panel upgrades because it was bulk. And the engineer, Farouk, that beats them down. So with these bids that we're gonna get, the engineer will be involved on the bids.
Right, and then is the association going to assess us, or is everybody going to pay individually?
We'll see where we are when Mike Markowski adds, because he was up till May, he continues to add to see where we are. And that's when the meeting he's gonna come to report where we are.
Now, Patty, just one thing with that though too, because if some people's electrical is up to par, or if they want to do it on their own, they're still gonna have to get assessed if everybody is being assessed. There's no way to, no, I looked at it in our bylaws, you can't assess each individual homeowner that wants to participate. It's either all or nothing.
That doesn't sound
That
fair.
doesn't sound right.
I'm pretty sure it's like that. I would double check.
Maybe you're
Like if you're gonna do an assessment, not bulk pricing, but like an assessment, so you can't assess only some of the
I
homeowners.
think you're confused
Because we're
because
talking about that with windows.
if it's something that is unit owner responsibility, which is the electrical, plumbing, lighting, that's specific to your unit, that's the unit owner, you can assess individual people. Now, when we're doing the building 40-year certification, that's the entire association. There's some verbiage there that you might be missing. Because the association does not own your electrical, plumbing, or AC, so.
No, but that's what I'm saying, that what we're voting on just to have someone give us bulk pricing and then each person would pay that bulk pricing.
Or
Not an assessment.
Or just a couple unit owners get together and get some more price.
Because I live with electrician.
I know, she's confused here. It's not a 40-year project, you have to do the facade. So
Who's gonna win
the
if I
facade
like
unit
my
you have
HVAC?
to bring out.
And
So
are they
that
gonna
would be a
warranty
part
it?
of the major project.
But it's not technically part of the contract because they said that they won't do it.
Right, but it's still part of the 40-year certification, because in order for us to get construction done, it's gonna impact.
So I think that's the question is, do you assess the entirety of the community for these? Or do you you're just saying, we're gonna get both prices.
Each phase stands on its own. So like, for instance, each phase stands on its own. So whatever happens in phase 1 happens in phase 1 unit owner. So, we can agree.
There's two right now, that's over $800,000 in fines right now.
Devil's advocate.
Who else has something for open forum?
Wait.
Okay, let's get going, okay?
I have to address the sound of the AC. So, if a resident has their own AC that they do not want you to touch, that unit owner must move that AC in advance and put it right back.
As long as there are no construction defects or flaws in the work to perform on the building.
All
right, okay, sure.
Thank you.
I was told that.
I wasn't sure.
The banks are looking at it.
Sharon has the floor, Sharon.
Just asking a question for Larry, and I guess the board. Larry, you had, I think, Doran and Levi had mentioned that, maybe you did as well, Diana, that at the front of our unit for 1700 and 1704, Carlos and myself, is very narrow. And when they move the stuff out, they have to go out how far? It's not front area.
The fence you're talking about.
No.
In the front of our unit, 1700 and 1704.
For the air conditioner. There's not enough spacing.
So the fence will have to come forward.
Well, you said mention something about the pipe as well, the electrical pipe?
The meter, the electrical meters.
Yeah.
You're talking about the air conditioner.
I'm not talking about
The line, the freon line.
Let's talk about that. I'm talking about that. I'm talking about, you have the electrical line, right? The box.
The box.
Okay, right? That is effect, right now, goes onto this right now, T11, right? We have the pad for the air conditioning, right? Right, we have a very small area between that, so how are we gonna put something in? What are we gonna do?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So the AC has to be shifted in order to do the work. That's why we did the assessment.
Okay.
So we take note of every unit where every AC needs to be shifted.
That's right.
Every unit that has the meters attached to the facade, we've taken a note of that. That's where the proposal is going to go to different bids for different companies to come and deal with that during the construction phase.
How many units in phase 1, phase 2, or part of phase 3 require that?
Majority of them.
Okay.
About 95%. It's only a few of them that have the AC units on the side where there's concrete that will be. It's only a few. And a few
plumbing, electrical, and AC units. Push the windows. Well, the banks are looking into it.
Welcome to homeownership in the condo association doing a 40-year certification.
But every one of your projects
Welcome to
for the past 15 years has all been screwed up.
All right, Sharon.
I had a comment about, like, when you assess the electrical and everything, like, I have 5 lights. So the next door neighbor probably only has 2 outside lights, and I have 5, so you've got to maybe assess each person. You know,
That's why-
That would cost more than.
Basically, what we're going to create first
You can't
is
just do one blanket
we're
assessment.
going to create a spreadsheet
Yeah.
with all the units, how many light fixtures they have, how many electrical outlets, how many plumbing outlets. A spreadsheet will be created for each unit.
And why wasn't this done at the very beginning?
All right.
Yeah.
Why do you have
Sean.
how many electrical outlets? Sean, you're speaking, we don't have any information on the units. Anything.
Well,
The spreadsheet will only give all that information. And then from that spreadsheet, the proposal will come. So I will give that spreadsheet to my boss, he will look at it and then prepare the proposal.
We already know who has, how many GFIs the units have. Okay, we know how many light fixtures for each building and each unit. That's what the walkthrough was about.
I keep hearing about a spreadsheet. When will
Compromise.
it be ready?
We just finished the last building today. They will have it for us in 2 weeks.
Okay, there's nothing wrong with my hearing. You know, when you first.
Oh, I'm sorry. I know.
Yell at things, okay?
I'm not trying to yell, but because everybody's talking.
All right, I'm gonna make a motion to adjourn this meeting.
I'll second.
I'm third. I'm only kidding. Don't start. I'm only kidding. I'm not 30. It was a joke. Oh, Vanessa. Oh.
Ladies have great.
So I'm sending now, I'm sending now So I wanted to give you this information.
I got his information. Yeah, he's been, we had meetings before where Honey was introduced to the wall, so we know. Thank you. All right, please let him rush you get done. Okay,
So you need to prepare, you need to
They did, there's like a division between the wall and the ceiling everywhere, so they just keep caulking. And so it's like a thick caulking through the whole house.
the space where we come from, I don't know how, all the people. So they could come. And I hear the guys, and I hear the guys because they talk Spanish, they say, no, we don't do it. So that's kind of the idea everywhere,
Unfortunately,